You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2145 2145 Chapter 471, Huang Jia and Huang Jiu 4. Ahem, this. Did you get it through embezzlement? No, absolutely not. Minister, am I here for the right reasons? Oh, I understand. Minister Huang smiled and said, I understand. It's my old profession. You're an expert in this field. You don't lack money. I understand. Huang Jia's face was about to split open. His mouth was wide open. After a long while, he said, Department head, you knew my identity a few years ago? I knew. How could I not know? Eternity. If you're really that stupid, can you become eternity? Department head Huang smiled and said, Of course I know. Kong, do you want to try fighting me? I'm only a third generation. I might not be able to fight you. What do you think? Huang Jiu was stunned for a moment. He looked at Huang Jia, then at Department head Huang, and said in a daze, Kong. Elder, didn't you say that your name is Kong Qingzi? Who was Kong? Most people didn't know, but those with status knew. Kong, third on the Dao Manifestation Board, the ancient spatial beast race. Third on the Dao Manifestation Board. He was even higher than Xiao Longwu, fifth on the Xiao Longwu Dao Manifestation Board. He was one of the people closest to being invincible. Huang Jia said dryly, It's a misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. Minister, you've really misunderstood. How can I be Kong? I'm Kong Qingzi. Back then, I accidentally killed an invincible descendant. My identity cannot be exposed. Minister Huang laughed, I know. Kong Qingzi, after all, killed the son of immortal King Tianxian. He was skilled in spatial arts. To put it simply, he stole it. He stole it onto the son of immortal King Tianxian and was discovered. Then, he killed the other party, is that right? Yes. Huang Jia said helplessly, that's why I don't dare to expose my identity. The head of Department Huang smiled and said, What a coincidence. 120 years ago, I happened to pass by a place and it was also a coincidence. What a coincidence. That Kong Qingzi went crazy and tried to steal me. I casually slapped him to death, it just so happened that I had something to attend to and was in a rush to leave. I couldn't be bothered to take his corpse away, but he was still at the 7th level of the Sun-Moon realm. I was just about to retrieve it after the incident. Do you think it's a coincidence that a fellow suddenly slipped into his skin? Oh, I'm shocked. Huang Jia's old face was completely stunned. Department head Huang smiled and patted his face. Yes, it's this face, but there's a difference. It's okay, it's about the same. Don't you think it's a coincidence? Huang Jia said in a daze, Department head killed him. That's right. What did you think? Huang Jia said with a sad face, I thought it was the aftermath. At that time, the two invincible fighters were fighting in the distance. I thought, this guy is really unlucky. I just happened to pick up an identity to use. He really knows how to pick up an identity. The director of the Huang department laughed, Kong, is it fun? It's not fun. Huang Jia was completely speechless. Director, did you know my real identity from the beginning? Of course, you hung a lot of aliases, this and that, and then the deepest part was Kong Qingzi. You thought that I would at most discover your identity, right? The head of the Huang division said happily, You don't know, but I've been following you. You're too interesting. When I found you, you were covered in layers of skin, layer by layer. In the end, I couldn't even be bothered to expose you. Interesting, isn't it? At the side, Huang Jiu was stunned. He looked at Huang Jia, and after a long while, he opened his mouth wide and said, "Elder, you aren't human." Huang Jia rolled his eyes. "Did I say I was a human? Are you really empty?" Huang Jia was also from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion and the Intelligence Department. At this moment, he said in astonishment, "Third on the Tao Manifestation Board, empty of the ancient beasts of space. What do you think?" Huang Jia was speechless. "Your old background has been exposed. Do you feel bad that I've kept it from you for so long?" "No." Huang Jia suddenly said in surprise, "Elder, you're Kong Kong Kong. Hit him. Hit him, we'll run. You're ranked third on the Tao Manifestation Board, and they say that you're invincible in the top 10. Elder, we." Huang Jia was speechless. The head of the Huang department also laughed and said with emotion, "This temper, this personality. It's a bit like an inheritance." Huang Jia looked at him and then at Huang Jia, "Elder, what does the head mean? Could it be that I was stolen by you and not picked up? I heard that Kong Kong is the best at stealing." Huang Jia said weakly, "Picked up? Who would steal from you? You threw it on the road and no one wanted it. I picked it up to disguise my identity. All of it was destroyed by a fool like you. If you didn't provoke Xianjiu, there wouldn't be so much trouble." Huang Jia said in confusion, "You're Kong Kong, what are you hiding?" Huang Jia didn't say anything. The minister of the Huang department smiled and said, "Of course he has to hide. He has to hide. Kong Kong, ranked third on the Tao Attainment Board, but he doesn't reach Tao Attainment and doesn't show his face. He has been hiding for many years. Do you think he would hide if nothing happened?" Huang Jia said embarrassedly, "Minister, what you said, I don't say anything else. You've forgotten that I'm the minister of the Huang department. I know the most about all the worlds." The minister of the Huang department said lightly, 125 years ago, there was a guy who wanted to steal some carrying objects in order to prove his Tao. Only a big shot could have such a thing. This guy is really bold. He stole it secretly and stole the coffin board of the immortal ancient half-emperor, right?" Huang Jia could not help but ask, "Coffin board?" The minister of the Huang department said with a faint smile, "It's true. The ancient immortal half-emperor is too old and too ancient. He might really have lived from the ancient times until now. He made a coffin for himself to nourish his vitality. That coffin is amazing. He used a 10,000-year-old heaven origin tree, countless heaven origin chi, the sun-moon mystic yellow liquid, the heaven and earth mystic light, all kinds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and he personally nurtured it for thousands of years to forge a coffin that was comparable to the peak of a heavenly soldier. In the end, someone stole his coffin board, how could he not hide?" You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2146. 2146 Chapter 471, Huang Jia and Huang Jiu 5. Huang Jiu was completely stunned. After a long while, he hurriedly asked, "Elder, where's the coffin board?" Huang Jia was speechless. He said gloomily, "What? You want it? That thing is unlucky." Department head Huang smiled and said, "It's in his own hands. That thing is a very good carrier. Kong 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 probably wants to obtain an incomparably powerful three-generation body. He doesn't like most people. He's probably been trying to obtain it for the past 100 years or so, right?" Huang Jia didn't say anything. After a long while, the head of department Huang smiled and said, "All right, I don't have any intentions. I'm not interested in this either. Help me do something. I've protected you for 100 years, but you insisted on running. If you didn't run, there wouldn't be so much trouble, right?" Huang Jia wasn't in a hurry to agree. Instead, he asked hesitantly, "What exactly is the head strength?" "Eternity. Could he be a half-emperor? That's not what I mean. Eternity also has its strengths and weaknesses. The minister said that he had been following me all those years ago, but I didn't know. What is the minister's? The minister of the Huang department smiled faintly and said, what is the minister's strength? Don't let your imagination run wild. Kong Kong, forget it, let's call him Huang Jia. Huang Jia, how about helping me do something? My lord says. Help me steal the tombstone. Minister Huang smiled lightly and said, you can do it. I think, no one is more confident than you. Huang Jia frowned, the myriad clans in the heavens are all staring at this thing. I only want to take the object. I don't want to take this thing. It's too dangerous. After saying that, he looked at him and said, Minister, why do you insist on taking this thing? You even don't hesitate to expose my identity. I'm a little interested. All the clans want it, so naturally, I want it too. But I got it, and the others in the heaven hunting pavilion want to share it. That won't do. I want to keep it for myself. Huang Jia hesitated for a moment. That. I can't do it. I haven't acted for many years. I almost forgot how to steal it. How can that be? Department head Huang smiled and said, it won't. How can you not act for many years? Didn't you steal an eternal dragon egg from the dragon clan a few years ago? Huang Jiu exclaimed, Elder, was the egg we ate 8 years ago a dragon egg? Huang Jia cursed silently. What was he doing? What was he shouting for? What if the dragon clan heard him? Huang Jiu continued to exclaim in surprise, then what was that roasted bird you made me eat 12 years ago? Department head Huang laughed. Oh, there's such a thing. 12 years ago, the Phoenix clan lost a baby bird. Was it you who did it? Huang Jiu said in surprise, baby bird. How cruel. Elder, let's sever all ties. I'll leave first. You're too cruel. She turned around and was about to run away, but the head of Department Huang was tired. He reached out again and held her head. Why are you running, little girl? Where are you running to? Do you think he dares to fight me just because you ran away? Huang Jiu was depressed. He was caught again and winked at Huang Jia, asking if he could fight. If he could win, he could fight. If he couldn't win, forget it, just help him do his work. At worst, he could just run away and break the contract. Huang Jia said helplessly, Minister, stealing the tombstone, is really dangerous. I know, but that thing. It's not good to lose it. Minister Huang smiled and said, let's not talk about this anymore. You helped me once and succeeded. When you are trying to attain Tao, I will help you once. When you are trying to attain Tao, you are courting death. The ancient immortal king might come and look for you personally. Huang Jia was speechless. I know. If not, I would have attained the Tao a long time ago. Wouldn't he not dare to do so? Then. All right. Huang Jia sighed and helplessly said, Minister Huang is really wise. So. Minister Huang smiled. Then I won't disturb you anymore. Huang Jia, don't break your mask. You are a peak Earth soldier after all. Even if it breaks, I can still find you. Even if I can't find you, I can still find this girl. Huang Jia said embarrassedly, don't worry, department head, I won't run. I hope so. Department head Huang smiled and instantly disappeared on the spot. After he left, the two looked at each other and panted again. Huang Jiu looked at him and said curiously, Elder, are you really empty? Empty is a space ancient beast. What's your original form like? Is it fun? No one knows what the original form of the space ancient beast is like. Shut up. Huang Jia snorted and put on the mask. Put on the mask. It's useless, useless. Elder, it's invincible. You don't even dare to fight it, how can I win? I've been acting cute many times, but he ignored me, so there's nothing I can do. Huang Jia ignored her and thought for a while. It seems that I have to help him this time. Why does this guy want the tombstone? It's useless to him, right? It's said that it's only useful to half-emperors, or multi-divine literature department civilized masters. Huang Jiao said indifferently, either he wants to become an emperor, or he's in cahoots with the humans. From what he said, he probably knows about Xian Jiao's problem and doesn't want to talk about it at all. Maybe it's related to the multi-divine literature department. Is that so? Huang Jia touched his chin. Maybe. Forget it, I won't pursue it. I know more and die faster. My identity has been exposed, and I died faster than him. Your grandfather, I, provoked the top 3 experts in the world. Sigh, I regret it. Return that coffin board? That won't do, how can I return it? I was counting on this to obtain an incomparably powerful past body. Past body? Elder, aren't you retrieving the past body? Are you retrieving the future body? Nonsense, the top 10 on the Tao manifestation board are almost all future bodies. Who would be able to retrieve the past body? Their combat strength isn't strong, and retrieving the future from the past is the true figure. Forget it, you don't understand. When you reach my level, you'll know how difficult this step is. Huang Jiao didn't care and said, Elder, that Minister Huang just said, which family do I belong to? You. They all said I picked it up on the road. Where did you pick it up? Why do you ask so many questions? Do you still want to find your biological father? No. Huang Jiao denied, I'm just curious. From what I hear, my family doesn't seem ordinary. How about I acknowledge my ancestors and return to my family? Let's steal some good stuff back. Forget it. Your family is gone. Steal my ass. Don't even think about it. Let's go, let's go. Don't even think about going back home. Your grandfather has raised you for so many years. How many good things have you eaten from me? Return the money, and only then will you return home. I can't pay you back. Huang Jiao muttered. How many good things have I eaten? Dragon eggs, phoenix chicks, where else can I go? Forget it, forget it. Who cares? Only by following the elders will there be good things to eat. P.S. The last 3 hours of this month, the monthly vote not to waste. Everyone support. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2147. 2147 Chapter 472 Conflict, Chapter 1 Requesting a Minimum Monthly 1. The human realm was in turmoil. It was unknown how many experts were either hiding their identities or hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity. The object to be carried, the tombstone, these two were the core of this time. If not for these two treasures, it would be very difficult to gather so many people and so many experts this time. The fake ruins created by the Xia family could only be said to attract some people and then use the divine text splitting method to attract the public's attention. But at this moment, there was no need for the divine text splitting method. Of course, the divine text splitting method was also a catalyst for the entry of the 10,000 races. 11th month, 15th day. The missing Lu Wenyan appeared. It had been a few days since he disappeared. At this moment, the entire southern Yuan was surrounded by countless experts. There were experts from the 10,000 races and also experts from the human race. Someone saw Lu Wenyan and very quickly, he disappeared and spread the news. Lu Wenyan. Someone shouted coldly and flew up into the air, looking down at Lu Wenyan in the distance. He shouted, Lu Wenyan, back then, you said that you couldn't take out the 5th generation divine text. Now, you've reached the peak of the mountain and sea realm, and have even passed down the 5th generation divine text to Suyu. Do you still have a reason today? Lu Wenyan looked at that person. After a long while, he smiled and said, "Reason? What reason? You are the man in the sky," he shouted angrily. "Lu Wenyan, what are you pretending for? My father had followed the 5th generation and died in the heavenly battlefield. You once said that you would publicly display the 5th generation divine text for everyone to see. Now, you and Suyu self-destructed the 5th generation divine text. Is that yours?" Lu Wenyan couldn't help but laugh. He looked around. Some were silent, some were sneering, some were waiting to watch the show, and some were shameless. Lu Wenyan said softly, "I didn't say that I would show it to everyone, right? It's just a figment of your imagination. Back then, I told the Zhou clan that the information my master left behind was missing. In order to save my master, the Zhou clan sacrificed an invincible life. I thought about it for a long time and also mentioned that once the divine text is manifested, we can show it to the people of the Zhou clan. But, the matter between me and the Zhou clan has already ended, right?" Lu Wenyan lightly smiled and said, "Don't say that I'm unreasonable, I'm reasonable. Your father was worthy of respect for following my master and dying in the heavenly battlefield, but, you can't ask all the soldiers who died in the heavenly battlefield to split up the invincible family property, right?" Lu Wenyan smiled and said, "Great Xia Manor, Great Qin Manor, which family didn't have thousands of soldiers who died in battle? Could it be that the descendants of these soldiers have to split up the Great Xia Manor's Xia family property? I'm very curious. How did the divine text my master left behind become everyone's? Yes, everyone died in battle because they followed my master. But, my master didn't treat everyone unfairly before he died, right? When he went to the heavenly battlefield, he didn't force everyone to go with him, right? He even asked everyone not to go with him. Because of your father, because of the other seniors who admired my master and worshipped him, they went to protect my master. But, this isn't a reason for you to divide up my master's inheritance, right?" Lu Wenyan's smile disappeared. "Moreover, my master died in battle, leaving behind only a few divine runes. When I left the Great Xia Institute of Civilization, I didn't take anything. I only took these divine runes. Logically speaking, these should belong to me, right? Because of this, I even owed a debt to repay the Grand Xia Manor. Because it was the Grand Xia Manor that nurtured my master, it shouldn't have much to do with you guys, right?" He looked at everyone, the 10,000 races, and the human race. He smiled and said, "Are you used to bullying us? You think that my lineage is easy to bully, so you all came here to bully us? Back then, my lineage left behind quite a lot of things, right? Later on, the things that needed to be compensated were compensated, and the things that needed to be given were given away. My junior brother and I left almost nothing behind." Lu Wenyan looked at that person and chuckled. "Even the Zhou family has settled their grudges with me. I don't understand. Where did you get the right to ask me to hand over my master's divine prose? On what basis?" That person looked at him coldly. "So you're saying that those people who died in battle with the 5th generation all died in vain?" Lu Wenyan sighed softly. "I'm very sad that the seniors died, but this isn't a reason." He shook his head. "I'm reasonable, and I hope that you're reasonable too. A general led thousands of soldiers into battle, and everyone died in battle. The reason wasn't because of that general, but because someone betrayed him. You didn't look for the person who betrayed you, but instead, you've been looking for the general's descendants. This shouldn't be the case. Just because the person who betrayed you was very powerful, you went to bully the general's descendants." Lu Wenyan chuckled. "There's no need, right? It's been so many years. For more than 50 years, we haven't fought for anything. If we were bullied, then we were bullied. If our disciples were killed, then we were killed. If the faction was destroyed, then it was destroyed. We've suppressed and targeted him. What else do we want? Do we have to be forced to fight to the death before we can be happy? It's not the first time, right? Why bother? Lu Wenyan looked at him. He said softly, "Why do you have to make such a move? My master's divine text was given to you. Do you think you can use it? Can you understand it? Originally, we should have worked together to find that traitor. But in the end, you guys fought with us for decades. Was it very satisfying? Or, who gave you a promise?" That person said coldly, "Lu Wenyan, don't look for these excuses. My father died because of you, so naturally, I want you to pay the price." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2148. 2148 Chapter 472 Conflict, Chapter 1 Requesting for a Guaranteed Monthly 2. Sigh. Lu Wenyan sighed, "There's really no way to reason with him. I've already said it, fine, but you have to force me to be more direct. My master gave the people who accompanied him compensation. He gave them wages, subsidies on the battlefield, and allowances even if they died in battle. Who among those people back then didn't receive benefits from my master? Later on, when my master died, you said that you wanted to pay with your life. Isn't this going too far?" Lu Wenyan smiled. He said helplessly, "It's true. So many years have passed. We have given and done everything that should be given and compensated. Most of my master's divine runes have exploded. Do you really have to not let go of the last bit?" At this moment, the person in the air had yet to speak when the surroundings, someone sneered and said, "Lu Wenyan, do you mean that those people who followed the 5th generation are dead? Because they paid, so their deaths have nothing to do with you. As expected, you have the divine runes, so your words of friendship are all lies. You don't treat those people as human beings." Lu Wenyan's heart was tired. "I'll reason with you, and you'll talk to me about friendship. I'll talk about friendship, and you'll say that you have to pay with your life. In any case, whatever I say is wrong. After so many years, you've gotten used to it. Perhaps you think that I should get used to it too." A demon expert laughed and said, "Lu Wenyan, why don't you take out Yi Beishan's divine text and take a look?" Lu Wenyan glanced at the demon and smiled as well. "Sure, do you want to take a look?" The demon paused for a moment. Lu Wenyan looked around and said, "Do you have to see it? Do you have to see it? Then, just look and don't take it. What do you think?" The eyes of the person who flew out from the sky flickered. "You can really materialize it. Lu Wenyan, take it out and have a look. As for the ownership of the divine inscription, it's not up to you alone. Then who's in charge?" Lu Wenyan smiled and said, "It's something that my master passed down. He doesn't have any descendants. Of course, he also has an aunt and a disciple who is my junior brother. Right now, Auntie is here and my junior brother is also in the city. Other than the three of us, is there anyone else who has more authority than us?" Yi Hongyan, whose face was slightly pale, snorted coldly and said, "Why bother with them? If it wasn't for the sake of those people back then, would have long been impolite to them. Among these people, some of their family members had died in battle with Yi Batian, some were unrelated, and some were immediate family members. It was clear that they were not unprepared for today's attack. They must have been waiting for Lu Wenyan. This was not the first time such an attack had been made. It had happened before, including the Battle of Shan Duo in the Great Xia Mansion. Tang Yunfei of the Nine Heavens Academy had used this reason to say that his senior brother had died in battle. At this moment, Hong Tan and the others were floating in the air. Hong Tan shouted across from those people, "Senior brother, it's useless to talk to them. These people have long been possessed. It doesn't make sense." Lu Wenyan raised his hand and smiled, "We have to be reasonable. Everything has to be reasonable. The more we talk about reason, the more we understand it." Some people sneered in their hearts. Lu Wenyan was here again. This guy was just a bookworm. Reason? In this era, who would reason with you? It was not the first time Lu Wenyan had faced such a situation. In the past, there were even people who went to the southern Yuan to ask for it personally. Of course, they were expelled by the Xia family, and Lu Wenyan chose to be reasonable. Lu Wenyan said with a smile, "How about this? Today, I feel that my master, divine runes, should be given to you. Stand out and let me see how many of the descendants of that batch of people back then feel that way. They feel that my master died in battle and that his divine runes should be divided up." There was no movement. In the crowd, there were still some people who couldn't hold it in. They scolded, "Brother Lu, why are you paying attention to these dogs? Whose descendants of those people who died in battle with the fifth generation back then asked you for something? Our parents followed the fifth generation not to divide up the divine text after his death. Our parents fought for ideals, for dreams, and for the human race back then. Now, the descendants of some opportunistic fellows have the nerve to ask for things." The old man scolded. "Take Wang Chong for example. I know his father. Back then, the fifth generation said that he didn't need anyone to follow him. His father insisted on going. Because he was weak, no one allowed him to go. Instead, he scolded everyone for looking down on him. In reality, his father only went to observe the process of the fifth generation Dao verification. He was just trying to sell himself. How could he have the heart to protect the Dao? Did the fifth generation need a third-level mountain and sea realm cultivator to protect the Dao? What a joke. When the man in the air heard this, he said angrily, "What did you say?" The old man was unwilling to be outdone. He rebuked angrily, "What did you say? Tell the truth. I usually give you face, so I can't be bothered with you. You even kept urging everyone to go and force the fifth generation. Who do you think you are? Someone who bullies the weak and fears the strong. Back then, the murderer who killed the fifth generation and your father was here. At the very least, his bloodline was here, and the Tian Yuan clan was here. Why didn't you go and kill them? You're forcing Brother Lu here. Can't everyone see what you're thinking?" The old man pointed at the cursing souls and the others who were watching the show and shouted, "Go and kill them. If you don't kill the real enemy, then you're forcing Brother Lu. Do you have any shame?" The man in the air said coldly, "Whether I kill them or not, that's my business. I'm looking for Lu Wenyan to get back what belongs to my father. Is there anything wrong with that? Is the fifth generation's divine text their own? That's everyone's. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2149. 2149 Chapter 472 Conflict, Chapter 1 Requesting for a Guaranteed Monthly 3. The old man was so angry that he laughed. Just as he was about to retort, Lu Wenyan laughed and said, "Forget it, Brother Huang, don't say any more. It's fine. I'm a reasonable person. Wang Chong, besides you, who else is there? You're alone. Even if you split it evenly according to the number of people who died in the war back then, you won't get much, right? How much more is there? If there's really more, then we can discuss how to deal with the divine runes." Wang Chong was slightly happy in his heart as he shouted, "Everyone, stand out together. The fifth generation divine runes aren't his, Lu Wenyan's. Everyone will have a share." After shouting for a while, there were indeed a few people who stood out. After a while, 7 or 8 people, including Wang Chong, gathered together. Lu Wenyan smiled and said, "Is there more?" 8 people. I won't ask which family it is. There were quite a number of people who died in the war back then. If we calculate it, there are still some who died in the hundreds. There are only 8 people, so we won't get much. Wang Chong shouted in a low voice, "Lu Wenyan, the 8 of us are enough to represent the descendants of those people." The old man in the crowd said angrily again, you represent your ancestors, and even your ancestors are ashamed to be associated with you. What do you represent? Wang Chong couldn't be bothered with him. He didn't want to ask this fellow for anything. He was looking for Lu Wenyan. As for Lu Wenyan, he had always been easy to talk to. Because his master had implicated so many people, over the years, everyone had more or less received some compensation, including Lu Wenyan paying off his debts, as well as some other treasures left behind by the fifth generation back then. All of them had been distributed. Now, it was just the same old trick. Lu Wenyan was very helpless. He sighed and said, "All right, come over. Only the 8 of you have the right to take a look. The others don't have the right." Wang Chong hesitated and shouted, "Take it out yourself." Lu Wenyan was helpless. A moment later, a divine text appeared in his hand. There were no fluctuations or earth-shattering changes. It just quietly floated in his hand. Everyone stretched out their necks. Wang Chong and the others' eyes moved slightly. They looked at each other and no longer hesitated. They all flew towards Lu Wenyan. They didn't think too much because Lu Wenyan was a reasonable person and a nerd. Alright, they thought so. Some of the experts from the 10,000 clans looked at each other. In the distance, someone beside Maudwa sneered, "Maudwa, will Lu Wenyan really give it to them?" Maudwa glanced at him. "What do you think?" "I think it's a joke." It was a joke. Of course, they weren't too clear about the habits of the human race. Would Lu Wenyan really give it to them? At this moment, the 8 of them flew over. Lu Wenyan sighed. "Forget it, I'll give it to you. Take it well." After saying that, the divine text flew toward Wang Chong. Wang Chong was overjoyed. At this moment, he reached out to grab the divine text, but the divine text flew directly toward his sea of consciousness. It seemed slow, but in fact, it was extremely fast. The divine text directly entered his sea of consciousness. Boom! With a loud bang, his sea of consciousness exploded, and his body shattered. Wang Chong did not leave any words behind. There was only an incomparably shrill scream. The surrounding atmosphere suddenly froze. Lu Wenyan smiled and said, "I'm being reasonable. If I give it to you, you won't be able to hold it." After saying this, the divine text flew towards the others. Some people were extremely terrified. "No, we..." Boom! Once again, one of them exploded into pieces. Lu Wenyan smiled and said, "Here, these divine scripts were stored in my sea of will back then. Now, they are also stored in your sea of will. Don't stand on ceremony." Rumble. Explosions rang out one after another. In an instant, 5 or 6 people were killed. The remaining people turned pale with fright. No, this was not Lu Wenyan. Lu Wenyan was not like this. Even if Lu Wenyan was dissatisfied, unhappy, and angry, he would still treat Tang Yunfei the same way he treated Tang Yunfei. Back then, Lu Wenyan had the ability to kill them after he self-detonated the holy prose, but in the end, he chose to kill an unrelated Shan Tianhao. Because Lu Wenyan remembered friendship. Someone said mournfully, "No, my second uncle once fought for the 5th generation." Boom! His body exploded, and his sea of consciousness collapsed. Lu Wenyan chuckled and said, "That's right. You also said that it was your second uncle who fought for the 5th generation." "That was the 5th generation. I'm not the 5th generation. I'm sorry." Boom! The last person also exploded, and the 8 people instantly turned into a bloody mist. There were still people in the surroundings who didn't react. Some people only reacted after a while and shouted angrily, "Lu Wenyan, you dare to kill humans? Are you crazy? You want to be a traitor?" At this moment, Lu Wenyan's eyes turned cold. The divine text in his hand suddenly turned into an axe. Lu Wenyan's aura soared and instantly disappeared. He reappeared above that person's head and slashed down with his axe. That person was shocked and was about to retaliate when his body was instantly suppressed. Pucci. His entire body was split into two halves from the middle, including his sea of will. A crescent moon instantly fell. Silence. Shock. On the human side, countless people were shocked. This. Lu Wenyan had completely gone mad. He had actually killed a human sun-moon expert in front of everyone. This madman, was he going to make an enemy of the human race? Lu Wenyan instantly retreated. He chuckled and said, "Betray the human race? Perhaps. The people you killed us are justice, the righteous path. If I kill you, why would it become a betrayal?" There were so many people in the divine literature department back then. Not many are still alive. He smiled and looked around. "If you think I'm a traitor, feel free to take action. Isn't my martial nephew Chen Yong the same? Yes, I'm telling you, he was the one who killed those people. So what? Those people killed my divine literature department's expert. Do they really think I don't know?" You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2150. 2150 Chapter 472 Conflict, Chapter 1 Requesting for a Minimum Monthly Vote, 4. Lu Wenyan suddenly roared angrily, "Ask yourselves, don't you know? You pretended to be deaf and dumb, didn't you just think that my lineage can be bullied? Killing us is the right path. Because, the myriad races also think that we should be killed. And there are quite a few of us in the multi-divine literature department." Lu Wenyan's aura surged as he shouted coldly, "Good people are bullied. Traitors? No one cares about real traitors. Since that's the case, I'll betray them today. So what? Be ****. An expert shouted angrily, "Lu Wenyan, watch your words. What betrayal? I'll report this matter to Invincible. After this, give me an explanation. Don't let the other races see this as a joke. Lord Xiaoho, please capture Lu Wenyan." What a ****. Many people looked at the burly man. Some were speechless, some were angry, and some were muddled. No, they were biased towards Lu Wenyan. Lu Wenyan had killed 9 people, and one of them was a powerhouse in the Sun-Moon realm. Now, this man wanted Lord Xiaoho to arrest Lu Wenyan. What a joke. Many people recognized the burly man who spoke. Someone said telepathically, "It's him, the general of the Tang Mansion's Mo Blade Guard. He's here too. This guy is obviously biased. This matter is hard to say. If Lu Wenyan can really produce evidence, those people that Chen Yong killed have killed many people from the divine literature department. Today, these people have also killed many people from the divine literature department. He'll be fine." Everyone was discussing animatedly. Behind them, Lord Xiaoho was a little strange. He smiled and very quickly turned serious. He shouted, "How dare Lu Wenyan? We are all humans. If he dares to slaughter humans in the Great Xia manner, he must be executed. Quickly surrender. Men, capture Lu Wenyan and enter the city." The moment these words were said, General Zhao was about to leave the Great Xia manor. Suddenly, a celestial sun and moon blocked his way. He said indifferently, "Why is Lu Wenyan in such a hurry to enter the city? We have no intention of interfering with the internal affairs of the human realm. However, Lu Wenyan's murder of the human race is punishable by death. He is a civilized master. Logically speaking, he should be handed over to the Seeker realm. The Seeker realm is the holy land of civilized masters. Lord Xiaoho, right?" Lord Xiaoho smiled. "Yo, you are a celestial. You know more about the human race's regulations than us humans. Not bad." His gaze was cold, but his face was smiling. Yes, that's the reason. Has someone from the Quest realm arrived? Lu Wenyan has temporarily left the matter to my Xia family. Does the Quest realm have any objections? At this moment, many people looked at a corner of southern Yuan City. Over 10 Sun-Moon realm experts were from the Quest realm. In the crowd, Yuan Qingdong transmitted his voice. Pretend you didn't hear it. Don't interfere. Why should he interfere in this matter? Since Lord Xiaoho had said so, it seemed like he was about to explode in anger. There was no reason for him to cause trouble for him. After he finished speaking, someone said unhappily, originally, the civilized master was under the jurisdiction of me, seeking boundary. Lu Wenyan, how dare he kill the human race? After capturing Lu Wenyan, there's no need for anything else. We'll get a share of Su Yu's ruins. There were still people who were jealous. Yuan Qingdong was a little angry and said telepathically, even the Xia family is jealous. So what? Can Xiao Heir kill us? The ruins are not his family's to begin with. Moreover, we are all invincible descendants, so the requirements are not high. At the very least, the Sun-Moon profound yellow liquid and the bearing object must be given to us. At worst, we don't want the tombstone anymore. Yuan Qingdong was about to explode from anger. Do you really think that the Xia family won't dare to deal with us? He felt that the Xia family was going to go all out this time. To be honest, if the Xia family really wanted to continue surviving, they might not dare to deal with them. However, the feeling that the Xia family gave to Yuan Qingdong this time was that they were putting everything on the line, they didn't care about anything anymore. If they were to interfere now, were they not afraid of death? The Xia family was going crazy. Before he could stop them, he heard from the crowd, someone shouted, Lord Xiaoho, according to the rules, as a civilized master, Lu Wenyan should be executed for killing his fellow countrymen. However, the facts are unclear now. Let's capture Lu Wenyan first. A civilized master is guilty of a crime. Since the Seeker realm is here, let the Seeker realm detain him. The surroundings fell silent. Lord Xiaoho's meaning was very clear. He was only asking, and did not have any intention of handing Lu Wenyan over to the Seeker realm. But at this moment, a Seeker realm person really spoke. At this moment, the eyes of the myriad clans in the heavens were focused. Someone whispered, the granddaughter of King Blazing Sea. A member of the Zhang family. The Blazing Sea King was one of the leaders of the 8 great families of the Quest realm. He was the backer of the Zhang family and not the king of the opening prefecture. On the Quest realm side, Zhang Ying spoke up. On one hand, she was jealous of the treasures in the ruins. On the other hand, she was angry at the Xia family and Lu Wenyan. These people ignored the dignity of the Quest realm and went against the will of the Quest realm time and time again. At this moment, she chose to speak up. At this moment, the air trembled. An old man with white hair and anger on his face coughed and panted, Zhang Ying, who asked you to interrupt? Then, he shouted, step back, you have no right to speak. Zhang Ying quickly recognized the old man and frowned. She quickly said, Elder Wang, this is the matter of the Seeker realm. The 8 great families are in charge of the Seeker realm and have come to a decision. I represent the Zhang family to arrest Lu Wenyan. This has nothing to do with Elder Wang, right? The old man was very angry. You used the Sea-Burning King to suppress me? Back when I was fighting in the heavens, your grandfather. Elder Wang. Zhang Ying frowned and said, you said it was back then. Elder Wang is getting old. Why didn't you go into seclusion in the Quest sacred land this time? Why did you come out? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2151. 2151 Chapter 472 Conflict, Chapter 1, Seeking a Minimum Monthly 5. Closed Door Cultivation. A group of old warriors from the past were mostly struggling on their last breaths. With injuries and illnesses, they were all in closed-door cultivation to stall for time and wait for the final battle. Among this group of people, Niu Bendao was considered to be the most energetic. The others were old, dead, and those who did not die were all heavily injured. Elder Wang was also severely injured, and he had yet to recover from his injuries. Upon hearing those words, his heart was filled with rage, and he began coughing non-stop. However, an expert of the sun and moon realm was like a candle in the wind. He bellowed furiously, "You yellow-mouthed brat! Shut up! The Pursuit realm isn't the sacred ground of the Zhang clan or the 8 great clans. It's the sacred ground of our human civilization. Cough cough cough, the Zhang clan. Cough cough, the Zhang clan is only the enforcer, not the master. Bastard!" Zhang Ying was a little angry, and she said coldly, "Elder Wang, your injuries are too severe. I think that you should go back to your seclusion to recuperate. This world is no longer the world of 400 years ago. You are old. You are already so old that you are on the verge of death, yet you still have the mood to meddle in this matter. Bastard, you!" Elder Wang was furious. He raised his hand and put it down again. For some reason, he felt a little sorrowful. It wasn't that he didn't have the strength to fight back, but he did. It was just a first-level Sun-Moon realm cultivator. If he wanted to kill him, he could. However, this was the granddaughter of his comrade back then, the granddaughter of King Blazing Sea. At this moment, all he felt was sorrow and helplessness. The Seeker realm had changed. He had been in closed-door cultivation for many years, and now that he was out, things had changed. He looked at the others, coughed, and panted as he said, "The 8 great clans. No, now it's the 9 great clans. The Zhang clan has agreed, and the others have refused. The Zhang clan doesn't represent the Seeker realm either." He turned to the others, panting heavily, "What about you? Are you going to do the same? The gods and demons are our mortal enemies. There aren't many good people in the myriad clans. 400 years ago, they massacred all living beings. 400 years ago, your ancestors and I fought our way into the heavens not to serve the gods and demons, but to take their lives." At this moment, he straightened his back and stopped panting. "More than 400 years ago, we fought with the gods, killing them until they lowered their heads and retreated. More than 400 years later, our strength increased by 100 times, 1,000 times. Could it be that at this time, we still care about these gods? Do we still have to give them face?" He looked at the god race expert who had just blocked his way, and his killing intent soared to the sky. "Today, the human race has changed. If this was 400 years ago, this group of 10,000 races and these beasts would have all been killed long ago. Those who are barefoot are not afraid of wearing shoes. Now that the great Qin king and the others have put on shoes, have they forgotten the past and the miserable state they were in back then?" He was furious. These people should not have appeared in the human race and in the southern Yuan. Even if the human race had internal strife, they should still be in the human realm and not be made a laughingstock in front of the 10,000 races. He was even more furious. On the side of the Quest realm, the new generation was short-sighted and ignored the big picture. In the past, even if the Quest realm was unhappy, he should have suppressed it. He should not have refuted Xiao's words. How could he let the Xia family be embarrassed? The Xia family had always been the vanguard of the fight against the 10,000 clans. How could he let the Xia family be embarrassed in front of the 10,000 clans? Bastard! Elder Wang was extremely furious. However, he felt a little sad and helpless. He was old and disabled. Who would listen to him? On the other side, Lu Wenyan didn't say anything. He smiled and said, "Elder Wang, you shouldn't participate in this. You want to arrest me in the Quest realm? Sure, come and arrest me. I'll wait for you." He looked over and said with a faint smile, "Come and arrest me." Zhang Ying's face changed and she said coldly, "You want to go against the will of the Quest Realm? Do you represent the Quest Realm?" Lu Wenyan smiled and said, "Do you really know what the Quest Realm is? Do you know how the Quest Realm came about?" Lu Wenyan smiled. The Quest Realm was established after the opening of the mansion. More than 300 years ago, my great-grandmaster, the first president of the Great Xia Civilization Academy, Mr. Xia Qinxia, founded the Civilization Academy. After that, various places established civilization academies one after another. My great-grandmaster joined hands with the Great Ming King, the Great Han King, the Great Song King, the Great Shang King, and the Great Zhou King. Many invincible people established the Quest Realm together. To seek the secrets of civilization, to seek the realm of exploration, it is not a dominant force. It is a hall of knowledge, a hall of civilization. Lu Wenyan said calmly, "You are only the executioners, not the rulers. Seeking the realm of exploration does not represent the world's civilized masters, especially my lineage. You do not have the authority to arrest me because I do not owe you anything. On the contrary, you owe me. You people have the authority that you have today, which was given to you by my great-grandmaster. Where do you get the right to arrest me, Lu Wenyan?" At this moment, Lu Wenyan shouted coldly, "Ask your Burning Sea King to come and ask him if the Seeker Realm has the right to arrest me, the direct descendant of the many divine inscriptions." Dead silence. Lord Xia Ho laughed, and Elder Wang also laughed. He coughed and said, "I think that Burning Sea King probably won't say that he has the right." On the other side, Zhang Ying and the others' expressions changed. Zhang Ying gritted her teeth and very quickly said angrily, "The past is the past, and now is the present. Lu Wenyan, are you going to defy the order? Are you going to betray the human race?" Lu Wenyan sighed. On the other side, Lord Xiaoho's gaze was cold and stern. He was just about to wave his hand when Lu Wenyan glanced at him, shook his head, and smiled. "Lord Xiaoho, it looks like I can only add to my crime." As he finished speaking, his figure flashed once again, and his axe chopped down into the distance. If it didn't make sense, then he would kill. Zhang Ying's heart jumped, and she shouted, "Kill him." Beside her, a few suns and moons were somewhat hesitant, but seeing Lu Wenyan's boldness and directly charging over, they still chose to take action. The axe descended, and 7 or 8 divine runes appeared, tangling around the axe. However, they all felt immense pressure. This was Yi Beixian's divine text. At this moment, Lu Wenyan flew through the air and laughed coldly. Everyone said that he was second to Yi Batian, that his master was his master, that he was me, that he was Lu Wenyan. In the next moment, a long sword appeared in his hand. The axe was his master's. The long sword was his. Heaven break. A soft shout resounded through the heavens, and a sword shot out. Lu Wenyan, at the peak of the mountain and sea realm. At this moment, he was only at the peak of the mountain and sea realm, but this sword strike was extraordinarily powerful and incredibly fast. This was the real Lu Wenyan. Whine. The sound of the sword vibrated. Behind him, Elder Wang wanted to stretch out his hand to block it, but suddenly, he sighed and chose to stop. Puchi. The sword slashed down at an unimaginable speed. Bang! A person's head fell. Even to death, she seemed to be in disbelief that someone really dared to kill her. Lu Wenyan gasped lightly and quickly retreated. The axe returned, but the others were all stunned and did not move. Boom! A bright moon descended from the sky and crashed to the ground. Yuan Qi spread and the divine runes shattered. With a sword, he killed the invincible descendant, the granddaughter of the sea-burning king, Zhang Ying. Lu Wenyan had a calm expression. "I am a traitor. Just capture me. Today, I will be this traitor." If the human realm is like this, then I will betray them. Furthermore, these people do not represent the human realm. Silence fell. A sun and moon was killed by him on the spot, and he was an invincible direct descendant. A moment later, in the distance, the void rippled. An old man walked out and looked at the fallen Zhang. He stepped into the air and landed on the ground. He picked up Zhang Ying's head inside. Lu Wenyan, even if she is wrong, can you kill her? Zhang Qi. Elder Wang's expression changed slightly. Zhang Ying's father was the son of the sea-burning king. A top-notch expert at the 8th level of the Sun-Moon realm. He actually came personally. Lu Wenyan did not say anything. Yi Hongyan quickly rushed to his side and said in a low voice, Zhang Qi, what do you want to do? The old man laughed lightly. He killed my daughter. You ask me, what do I want to do? He chuckled, and his laughter was a little creepy. After keeping Zhang Ying's body, he stood up and looked at Master Xia Ho. Xia Shower, does your Xia family still want to protect him? Master Xia Ho closed his eyes and did not speak. His attitude was self-evident. I want to protect, the Xia family wants to protect. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2152. 2152 Chapter 473 Su Yu's Super Killer Weapon, Chapter 2 Requires Subscription, 1. Lord Xia Ho was silent. Some people did not remain silent. Hong Tan also walked out at this moment and looked at Zhang Qi. He said softly, Zhang Qi, you are also an elder powerhouse. You know the intention of my senior and junior brothers gathering at the Southern Yuan this time. Now, no one cannot be killed. Zhang Ying was killed by my senior brother, she deserves it. Do you really have to stand up for the lineage of the Burning Sea King now? Zhang Qi looked at him and was silent for a moment. I am me, and my father is my father. I know what you want to do, but... Lu Wenyan killed my beloved daughter, and Zhang Ying wanted to capture him, but she only did it according to the rules. What's wrong with that? What did the lineage of the polytheistic holy pros gather in the Southern Yuan mean? To draw out the invincible betrayer. It was almost becoming an open secret. And at this moment, the Zhang family had stepped forward, which made people doubt the Zhang family's attitude. However, was the invincible traitor so stupid? At this moment, Hong Tan and Lu Wenyan also frowned and didn't say anything else. Master Xia Ho opened his eyes, sighed, and said, just say it. What do you want to do and what do you want? A load. The surroundings were eerily quiet. Even Lu Wenyan was taken aback. He had killed Zhang Ying only to intimidate the surroundings and intimidate those in the exploration realm. When Zhang Qi appeared, he thought that a war was about to break out, and he was prepared to fight. But, what was Zhang Qi saying? Zhang Qi said calmly, Lu Wenyan, my daughter only acted according to the rules, and there is no room for transgression. The rules were also set by the 8 great clans. It was not set by my daughter alone. It was reasonable for you to kill others and seek the punishment of the suzerain, but you killed him. The polytheistic literature department had your purpose, and the Zhang family had no intention to participate. The Zhang family only acted according to the rules, but... Now you've broken the rules. Lu Wenyan was extremely shocked. Looking at him, he could not help but say angrily, you've been here the whole time. Zhang Qi had been nearby the whole time. Zhang Qi didn't say anything. Yuan Qingdong and the others around him all shuddered. This had all gone crazy. In order to attain the Tao, all of them had gone crazy. Zhang Qi was about to enter the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. Once he entered, he would need a carrier to have any hope of attaining the Tao. What was he doing now? Yuan Qingdong and the others felt a chill in their hearts. Earlier, when Lu Wenyan had killed someone, although they had been frightened, they hadn't been this afraid. At this moment, they were truly afraid, and their hearts were truly chilled. If Zhang-Chi was like this, where were their parents? This time, all of them were at the early stage of the Sun-Moon realm, and none of them were at the middle or late stage. Where were their parents? Yuan Qingdong swallowed his saliva, and a chill ran down his spine. Crazy. They were all crazy. In order to attain the Tao, these people had all become madmen. Zhang-Chi must have come here long ago. He did it on purpose. He waited for Lu Wenyan to kill his daughter. Perhaps, he was the one who had transmitted his voice to Zhang Ying. Otherwise, would Zhang Ying really say these words? At this moment, they weren't the only ones who felt a chill in their hearts. Around them, the experts of the 10,000 races felt a chill in their hearts. These human fellows were too ruthless. Lord Xiaohou also sighed and looked at Zhang-Chi. After a long while, he said in a deep voice, "You want a vessel?" "Yes." Zhang-Chi said calmly, "I, the Burning Sea faction, am not a traitor. I am a meritorious minister of the human race. My father has made great contributions to the human race. I have also fought for the human race for many years. I am not a traitor, and neither is my daughter. Lu Wenyan killed her. Even if you have really drawn out a traitor and killed a traitor, it has nothing to do with us. Because, we are not. If we are not traitors. Lu Wenyan, your fault will be huge." Lord Xiaohou said with a smile that looked like he was crying, "So, you have agreed privately. Is that so?" Zhang-Chi was silent. Ha ha ha. Lord Xiaohou was a little helpless and a little sad. "I understand what you mean. Zhang Ying was not a traitor, and neither was the Zhang family. Of course, it was hard to say now. However, Zhang-Chi did not come here because he was a traitor. He wanted to sell his daughter in exchange for a vessel. This Lord Xiaohou could not imagine. However, Zhang-Chi was right. Lu Wenyan killing someone still broke the rules. Unless he died this time, once the Burning Sea King was not a traitor, the Zhang family would definitely not let it go. Even if the Great Qin King and the Great Xia King appeared, they would not let it go. Zhang-Chi was too ruthless. Because he wanted to verify the Tao. Therefore, he watched as his daughter was killed just for a vessel. Lord Xiaohou sighed, and very quickly, he laughed again, inexplicably. "Fine, I'll give it to you. My Xia family or Lu Wenyan, if they take the object, I'll give you one. Zhang-Chi, you've made me look at you in a new light. I just want to know, does King Blazing Sea know?" Zhang-Chi said calmly, "I don't know. I think my father is a good person. Of course, I'm not sure. You can lure him all you want. If my father is a traitor, there's no need for this vessel. After all, I'm also a traitor. If my father isn't a traitor, if the Xia family and Lu Wenyan obtain the vessel, they must give me a piece." At this moment, the experts from all over the world were truly enlightened. Lu Wenyan also seemed to be laughing and crying at the same time. What a ruthless fellow. He did not regret killing people. However, he killed Zhang Ying and Zhang-Chi appeared in the end. This made him feel a chill in his heart. Was this fellow wrong? If this fellow was not a traitor or a traitor, there was nothing wrong with him. His daughter had been killed, so he chose to settle it privately. He offered a bearer. Was he going to give it to him? And then kill him? All of this was completely different from what Lu Wenyan had expected. Behind him, Elder Wang also looked at Zhang-Chi with a complicated expression. After a long time, he sighed and muttered, "The most ruthless Imperial family." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2153 2153 Chapter 473 Su Yu's Super Killer, Chapter 2 requires subscription, 2. A sigh. Was it worth trading a useless daughter for a carrier? It was worth it. However, people had feelings. Not everything could be calculated by value, and Zhang Qi was so cold-blooded that it was frightening. But he wasn't wrong. He didn't kill his daughter, the murderer was Lu Wenyan. He only chose to be selfish. That's right, but he was too cold-blooded. He was even selfish to the extreme. But at this moment, no matter if it was the Xia family or Lu Wenyan, they didn't say anything. The Quest realm, how did it end up like this? The Xia family could refuse, and so could Lu Wenyan. They didn't care about the future, so what was there to be afraid of? But at this moment, they agreed. They didn't refuse anymore. Zhang Qi was crazy. He was ruthless to the point of being a cold-blooded pervert. They didn't want to say anything to him. However, Zhang Qi was very calm. He put away his daughter's corpse and instantly disappeared. It seemed that he came just now to collect his daughter's corpse. In the distance. Heartless. Suyu sighed and said inexplicably, "Can such a person verify the Tao? Is such a person worthy of verifying the Tao?" At the side, Xian Jia said coldly, "Yes, he is worthy. Among all the races in the universe, it's not that there isn't such an invincible person, it's just that he isn't that direct. Zhang Qi, the son of the sea-burning king. I've learned a lot. Of course, if Zhang Ying isn't his biological child, perhaps his wife has put a hat on him. Such a person might be very strong, but I hope that not many people will learn from him." Zhang Qi displayed his ruthlessness to the extreme. He was so cold-blooded that he didn't seem like a living person. Of course, there were countless living beings in the world. It wasn't that there weren't such people, but to Su Yu, it was a huge blow. He was so shocked that he wanted to kill that fellow. If such a person was truly invincible in the Tao, would he protect mankind? Would he fight for mankind? He didn't even want his daughter. He only wanted to be strong. In the end, he sold the human race. Everything had a price. Su Yu felt inexplicable. The human race was like this. However, among the 10,000 races, someone laughed and said, "Well done. Zhang Qi, the son of King Fenhai, amazing. His methods are brilliant and admirable. I can learn from him, ha ha ha." Someone said coldly, "The Burning Sea King might be that traitor. He has the same kind of son as me. I think we should stop looking for him. If the Xia family has any trump cards, just bring them out and fight the Burning Sea King to the death." The 10,000 races in the heavens were all trying to determine if the Xia family had any trump cards. Perhaps it was the original cult master. Of course, perhaps it was more than that. The myriad clans didn't dare to rashly barge into the ruins because of this guess. The Xia family might still have some trump cards. As for fanning the flames, it was too normal. The myriad clans wished for the human clan to have internal strife to the extreme and fight against themselves. The son of the Burning Sea King was an eye-opener. At this moment, they had seized the opportunity, so how could they not fan the flames? All of them smiled meaningfully. Someone looked towards Yuan Qingdong's side, with a faint smile, they said, "The 8 great masters are really scheming. No wonder none of them are strong. It can't be that they all have this idea, right? Lu Wenyan, kill more. Grab 8 pieces of the vessel and each family will get 1 piece." Ha ha ha. The group of experts laughed wildly. Lord Xia Ho ignored them. He looked at Lu Wenyan and sighed. "Come back." Lu Wenyan did not say anything else. Under the escort of Yi Hongyan and the Lu family's eldest uncle, he walked towards southern Yuan City. Lord Xia Ho said calmly, "If you want to die, go ahead and stop them. The Xia family can't do anything to the others, so killing you is still within our grasp." Someone said with a faint smile, "Of course, Lord Xia Ho, don't worry. Your human race's unrivaled betrayal won't come out. We won't go in, even if the ruins are taken away by you. Ha ha ha. The myriad races of the heavens, watching your Xia family fish, we also want to see who that is. Did your Xia clan catch a big fish, or was the fish too big, dragging all of you into the water? We're all waiting. One expert after another laughed loudly. The Xia clan's scheme was an open conspiracy. They also wanted to wait and see what the Xia clan's trump card was. They also wanted to see whether or not that invincible traitor of the human race would appear. Of course, the prerequisite was that Lu Wenyan could really inherit the ancient domain and had confidence in attaining Dao. Otherwise, that person might not come out. The big show was about to begin. The group of people were all beaming with smiles. Those who dared to stay naturally had some confidence. Those who were not confident had long left this place to stand guard outside. This ruins was getting more and more interesting. The group of people were all waiting. Waiting for the ruins to appear, waiting for that invincible person to appear. Lu Wenyan had entered the city. He had successfully entered the city. Meanwhile, Su Yu and the other people from the heaven hunting pavilion were still guarding the outer perimeter. Su Yu looked at Nan Yuan, his mood fluctuating. After a long while, he said, "Elder, is it really worth it to abandon everything just to attain Dao?" The black-armored man pondered for a moment and shook his head. "Don't ask me. This question is very difficult to answer you. Some people think it's worth it, some people think it's not worth it, and some people do things in the dark that are not strange at all. Abandoning their wives, abandoning their children, killing their fathers. There are too many living creatures, and it's also too common. Zhang Qi, he has only seen a lot of people. You might not know how many people you haven't seen." Su Yu nodded, thought for a moment, and said telepathically, "Elder, then do you think he should be killed?" "He should be killed." "But," the black armor said telepathically, "you can't kill him, unless he's proven to be a traitor. Otherwise, if you kill an invincible legitimate son, what right do you have to kill him? His father fought for the human race, and he also fought for the human race. What right do you have to kill him?" You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2154. 2154 Chapter 473 Su Yu's Super Killer, Chapter 2 Requires Subscription, 3. Su Yu was silent. At this moment, he thought of something. In his heart, he was slightly moved. Someone said. He might have a long-lasting reputation. Was he thinking the same as himself? Did he expect all of this? If, whether he succeeded or failed, he really had a long-lasting reputation, at least, the human condition could not accommodate him. Su Yu felt an inexplicable sense of sadness. Is what you want to do the same as what I think? Did you attract so many people and even set up a plan long ago just to wait for this moment? At this moment, Su Yu looked toward the north. That was the capital of the great Xia prefecture. There was the Heart Cultivation Pavilion there. The Heart Cultivation Pavilion. Wan Tiansheng was looking toward the south. He was looking toward the south from 1,000 miles away. He was looking at the southern Yuan. When Zhang Ying was killed, he seemed to have smiled. When Zhang Qi made his choice, his smile became even more obvious. Human heart, human nature. Muttering and smiling, the 10,000 heavenly saints retracted his gaze and looked at the sky, as if he was looking at the battlefield of the heavens. Everyone had too many worries. Everyone had too many restrictions. I, the cleaner. I will clean up the darkness in this world. I hope that all your grudges and hatred will be focused on me. I will bear it. I hope that the dragon slayer will not become the slayer. Heroes will continue to be your heroes. Nan Yuanju, Nan Yuanyun. Nan Yuan, this is a good place. After lamenting, Wan Tiansheng returned to the rattan chair. He opened a book and began to read. The old rattan chair creaked. Wan Tianxing seemed a little thin and weak under the sunlight, but his expression was very satisfied. The sunlight would eventually disperse the darkness. Inside Nanyuan City. As Lu Wenyan entered the city, all the forces of the Great Xia Mansion began to gather. A large number of experts continuously entered Nanyuan City. Nanyuan City Lord's Mansion. Lord Xiaohou lightly knocked on the table. After a long while, he said, "When can the ruins be opened?" Beside him, Hong Tan said in a low voice, "Around 3 days." Lord Xiaohou nodded slightly and said indifferently, "Now, everyone is playing chess openly and openly. I want to lure him out, and he may be observing." "No, he must be observing." Lord Xiaohou smiled and said, "Let Chen Yong come back and advance to the Sun and Moon realm. I want to let that person know that if he doesn't stop us, we will find him sooner or later and take revenge on him sooner or later." "All right." Hong Tan nodded. "Do you think he will come out?" "He will. As long as Lu Wenyan could really do it, he would be able to step into the Sun and Moon realm in an instant, or even the intermediate stage. I'm just afraid that this fellow isn't that awesome. And you, if you teach the splitting method of divine arts to the public now, I want to make all human realm civilized masters become multi-divine arts. If I teach the splitting method of soaring into the sky today, tomorrow will be Lingyun, and the day after tomorrow will be mountain and sea. Mountain and sea isn't enough." Lord Xiaohou said unhappily, "If I say it's okay, then it's okay." "All right then." Hong Tan said helplessly, "I'll teach it to the outside world." "Then, does the Xia family have any other preparations?" "That guy isn't stupid. If they don't have any other preparations, he might not be at ease." "Yes." Lord Xiaohou smiled meaningfully and said, "Of course they do. Without the confidence to fight against Invincible, how could the Xia family risk everything? Right? Don't worry, there will be. That person will know, and everyone will know." Hong Tan chuckled and said, "That's good." The two of them stopped talking and looked towards the Suyu family side. Lu Wenyan was there now, and they did not know how long it would take for him to advance to the Sun-Moon realm. As for Zhang Qi, the two of them did not mention this person. It was meaningless. As for whether the Xia family would give him, if they really wanted to snatch a vessel, yes, but Master Xiaohou had his own ideas. Perhaps he would give it, but he had to have his life to take it. If a person like Zhang Qi really became invincible, he would be a disaster instead. At worst, the name of the Xia family would be thrown away. If they didn't want him, why would they care about his name? Heaven Hunting Pavilion Branch. Suyu had returned and didn't continue to watch everything over at the Southern Origin. Lu Wenyan had entered the city. At this point, the initial plan was almost complete. At this point, to be honest, Suyu wasn't of much use anymore. He could actually leave this place and return to the heavenly battlefield. But, could he? No. Lu Wenyan, Bai Feng, Hong Tan, Chen Yong, Xia Huyo, Master Xiaohou, Yi Hongyan. There were many people he knew or didn't know. There were people who protected him, people who helped him. These people were prepared to die. Suyu didn't want to leave. Would the plan succeed? Suyu didn't know. What if he couldn't attract that person? All of his efforts had been in vain. Could Ji Hong, Chen Yong, and the others really confirm his identity? Suyu found it difficult. Even if the person who had suspected him in the end was narrowed down to a single target, suspicion was only suspicion, and there was no real evidence. What's his motive for killing Yi Badian? Doesn't he want to activate the suppression of the human realm? Or is it really just a personal grudge? No one could judge this, no one could prove it. The best plan now was for Lu Wenyan to make the other party feel threatened and feel the hope of achieving the Tao. The other party would appear, but, what if he didn't appear? The most talented person in the School of Divine Inscriptions isn't Lu Wenyan Laoshi, it's me. Su Yu smiled. Right, it's me. I am the one with the greatest hope of achieving the Tao. If Lu Laoshi is unable to lure him out, what about me? Can I do it? Can I do it? I have only cultivated for a few days. I am still forced by the aura of death in the ancient city, and what if I can fight against the sun and the moon? Opening my yang aperture, the vitality in my acupoints will surge into my yang aperture, never stopping. I don't have that much vitality, but I have an endless aura of death. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2155. 2155 Chapter 473 Su Yu's Super Killer Weapon, Chapter 2 Requires Subscription, 4. Is this still considered a yang aperture? It's already a dead aperture, isn't it? Will I damage my yang aperture? Su Yu smiled. A moment later, he reversed his yuan aperture and converted his yuan qi into an aura of death. The aura of death continuously surged into the half-opened yang aperture. The previously bright yang aperture became a little dark and was filled with an aura of death. Sure enough. Su Yu smiled again. Open the yang aperture. If he opened it all, what would happen? Bai Tianhao of the Bai family had opened his yang aperture. Ling Yun was at the 9th level, killing the 7th level of the mountain and sea realm, and there weren't many people in the world who could do this. Was the Bai family's patriarch very monstrous? Did he open 360 apertures? Did he cast his body more than 36 times? None. However, he had reached such a level. The growth of his yang aperture was definitely not that small. Of course, Su Yu had been opening a small part of his yang aperture all this while. He had never experienced it before, when it was fully opened. He did not dare because if this thing was opened, he would not be able to close it without a yin aperture. It would continue to open. At this moment, Su Yu thought of something. It was very interesting. The death aura was endless. The aura of death in my body was constantly increasing. In other words, my yang aperture was absorbing energy. Was it the yang aperture that absorbed all the aura of death, or the aura of death that filled the yang aperture? Was it the yang aperture that was more powerful, or the aura of death? Su Yu smiled. What an interesting thing. It was still early to open the yin aperture, so Su Yu wasn't in a hurry. This time, he would kill a few more civilized masters. The civilized masters of the 10,000 races would naturally be able to obtain a large number of divine apertures. He wasn't in a hurry. As a living dead person, what was there to be anxious about? The yang aperture grew larger and larger. Death qi continued to surge into his body. Su Yu only felt that his strength continued to grow. Very, very strong. The power of the yang aperture had increased by a lot compared to before. And just as Su Yu was trying. At this moment, in the ancient city of Xinghong. Under the passageway. In an incomparably huge world, in a palace filled with boiling death qi, Star Moon Sovereign suddenly woke up. The death qi in her body began to boil slightly. It continued to flow. More and more. A tunnel, an invisible tunnel, pierced through the world and transmitted the death qi in her body. More and more of it was being sent out. A certain someone was like a bottomless pit, continuously devouring the death qi. The degree of devouring was astonishing. Star Moon was alarmed. She stood up and instantly disappeared from where she was. In the next moment, she appeared below the tunnel and asked in a deep voice, "Where's Su Yu?" She looked into the city. "Where's Su Yu?" Xinghong ignored her. He continued to close his eyes. As if he had sensed something, Xinghong suddenly opened his eyes. "You. This death aura of yours, it's fluctuating a little too much. Where's Su Yu?" Xingyue said coldly, "Where is he?" He's not at the heavenly battlefield. Where did he go? Damn it! What was he doing? He was absorbing the death aura crazily at an astonishing speed. Xingyue did not know what he was doing. Xing Hong was also a little surprised. What was Su Yu doing? This guy seemed to be crazily absorbing the aura of death. Could it be that the cultivation technique was reversing? What was the point of wasting it so much? You were so close to absorbing the aura of death. It was enough to reverse the process. It wasn't like you could completely cut off the passage. The aura of death was endless, and you still wanted to absorb a sovereign of the dead. What a joke. He was invincible, but where were you? You're so awesome. If I had known earlier, I would have gone out for a bit longer. Xing Hong ignored Xingyu, but suddenly, the stone sculpture moved. Xingyu was stunned. Xing Hong had actually left the passage. At that moment, a large amount of aura of death surged towards the stone sculpture. Xing Hong did not say anything, nor did he make a sound. However, the aura of death instantly disappeared. Xingyu was stunned. You want to kill him? Otherwise, why did you transfer the aura of death to Su Yu? The stone statue ignored her. I'll give it a try. That kid is too awesome. Since he crazily absorbed the aura of death that you transmitted, I'll give him some too. Does this kid think that the aura of death is too little? At this moment, Su Yu's body trembled slightly. More aura of death surged into him. Su Yu's heart moved slightly. The stone statue did this? Whatever. What am I afraid of? At this moment, his young aperture had completely turned black. Countless amounts of death chi surged into it. His young aperture had the ability to continuously absorb it, as if it was going to suck Su Yu dry. And within Su Yu's body, the death chi seemed to be competing with the yang aperture. Who was afraid of who? Star Moon Sovereign continued to infuse death chi into his body. She didn't believe that she, the sovereign of the dead spirit, wouldn't be able to take care of Su Yu. You transformed, right? You cancelled it out, right? I'll see how long you can cancel it out. You're even going against me. She could not continuously infuse death chi into her body without it dissipating. She could only infuse it according to the rules. However, Su Yu was constantly consuming and cancelling it out. Don't blame me for constantly increasing the amount of death chi. His young aperture and death chi were going against each other. Su Yu, on the other hand, experienced a powerful feeling. His young aperture had yet to fully open, but a large portion of it had already been opened. At this moment, the speed at which he was absorbing death chi was extremely fast. Su Yu's entire body had 360 apertures, forming 9. At this moment, these 9 apertures surrounded his young aperture like 10 dark moons. They were all black. Within the 9 apertures, the death chi continuously poured into the young aperture in the middle. The young aperture and the 9 apertures formed a complete system. Su Yu only felt that his physical body was getting stronger and stronger. This was still not enough. When the 9 apertures and the young aperture were about to merge, the power that erupted was even more powerful. Su Yu was thinking, if he fully opened the young aperture and added the 62-year-old physical body, how powerful could it be? The young aperture was constantly accumulating power. It was amazing. By family patriarch. A person suddenly appeared in Su Yu's mind. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2156. 2156 Chapter 473 Su Yu's Super Killing Machine, Chapter 2 requires subscription, 5. Bai Feng's grandfather. He must have opened all of his young apertures, but right now, he might be sucked to death. This was the best candidate to become an ancient city resident. Of course, the prerequisite was to be able to reverse his origin aperture. Otherwise, if there was too much death chi, the other party would die, and his young aperture wouldn't be able to absorb it. If this incarnation resident were to be able to reverse his origin aperture and open his young aperture, the problem of his young aperture would be solved, and he would be able to unleash his battle prowess. As Su Yu thought about it, he was afraid that the undead that had converted him was not strong enough and would be sucked to death. He should be fine, right? He should be fine. The one who had converted him was the undead sovereign. At this moment, Su Yu was extremely grateful to Xingyu. Luckily, it was you. If it were an ordinary sun and moon, wouldn't you be sucked to death by me? That would be such a pity. With this thought in mind, Su Yu continued to cultivate and forge his body. He continued to open his young aperture and absorb the aura of death. Since it was endless, he would accumulate some energy first. After accumulating a large amount of energy in his young aperture, his physical body would be stronger, by devouring the essence blood of the 6th level of the sun and moon, and then opening his young aperture, he might be able to devour the essence blood of the 8th level of the sun and moon. At that time, an invincible person would be able to provide him with an endless amount of aura of death. He would still be able to fight some people. Modwa. These people had the possession of Emperor Gu. He, I have one too. I have the possession of the sovereign of the dead spirit. Am I afraid of you? Come on. If your physical body can withstand it, so can I. My physical body is definitely not weaker than yours. If your sovereign of the dead possesses a powerful body, I, the sovereign of the dead, possess a powerful body as well. Who is afraid of you? Since Lu Laoshi is unable to lure him out, then I will do it. If even a peerless genius like me is unable to lure him out, then this invincible traitor should just obediently wait for his death. After we verify our daos one by one, we will kill you. Su Yu was pleased with himself. He was pleasantly surprised by his whimsical methods. Meanwhile, in the ancient city, Xing Hong was in a daze. Still sucking. Holy shit. You're still sucking the star moon. I've already transferred more than half of the aura of death to you, and you still can't suck enough. In the passageway, the star moon sovereign was also shaken. I can really convert this guy. I don't care anymore. I'll continue to lose, and I'll make you regret it. Xing Hong also secretly transferred all the death aura to Su Yu. It's fine. Su Yu seemed to be fine. He was still sucking on Star Moon. Xing Hong was stunned. This works. F***CK. This works too. F***CK, I underestimated this kid in the past. I was always worried that he wouldn't be able to convert. I was afraid that if I went out for too long, he would die. But what was going on? Xing Hong stretched his body and suddenly looked at Xingyue. Don't mess with me. I'm going out to take a look. Do you hear me? Xingyue looked at him in a daze. Xing Hong ignored her and suddenly disappeared from where he was. I'm going out to have some fun, cough cough, I'm going out to see my old friend. How relaxing. There was no aura of death at all. That madman Su Yu was doing something. He was crazily absorbing the aura of death. Even after he left the ancient city, he didn't feel any aura of death spreading out. What the hell? In a flash, he appeared in the sky above an ancient city. In the ancient city of Heaven Destruction. Heaven Destruction was stunned for a moment. He opened his eyes. He wanted to rub his eyes. Did he see a ghost? He really rubbed his eyes. In the sky, Xing Hong smiled. Heaven Destruction, there are so many changes outside. It's so beautiful. I'll go take a look. You, continue to stay here. Xing Hong. He was gone. Xing Hong left. Apocalypse widened his eyes. What the F***CK? He came. He left. His real body came. What the F***ck, where's the aura of death? The aura of death could not be carried by anyone. Otherwise, the passageway would be forcefully broken open. Where did the aura of death go? These stone sculptures could leave for a short period of time and let the city lord and residents bear it. However, the aura of death was fierce. Perhaps in 3 to 5 seconds, the entire city would be dead. However, it would at least take some time for Xing Hong to travel from there to here, right? He actually had to go somewhere else to have fun. No. Su Yu. Yes, Su Yu. At this moment, Tian Mie suddenly went crazy. Suddenly, he punched out. With a rumble, he was hit in the back of the head in the front hall. His entire body was on the verge of collapsing. F***ck. What happened? Tian Mie fainted. At this moment, he was on the verge of collapse. The only person who could knock him out in the city was that stone statue. What happened? It was a legendary story. I'm the first city lord to be knocked out by a stone statue, right? As for Tian Mie, he opened his eyes and stared at the unconscious Tian He. He said furiously, "Why don't you give up your position to Su Yu?" Tian He vaguely heard it. He was dizzy. What was going on? Who did I offend? On this day, a stone statue was roaming the world without anyone seeing it. In the sea of stars. Xing Hong stepped into the ancient city that Su Yu almost met that day. He smiled and said, "Brother, you're still sleeping." In the city, the stone statue that had warned him not to open the reversal of the aura of death opened his eyes. After looking at it for a while, he closed his eyes. The city lord has changed. Don't do anything rash. The death aura is too strong. It might be the person I saw last time. Reverse the death aura. Be careful of the death aura being too strong. Open the passage again. Xing Hong was shocked and nodded slightly. Got it. As he spoke, he hesitated and said, "Can we go to the human realm to take a look?" No, don't bring the death aura passage into the human realm. My city lord, he's in the human realm. The ancient stone sculpture was silent for a while, then said, "Get him back as soon as possible, and don't run around." Okay. Xing Hong nodded and disappeared instantly. The ancient stone sculpture looked in the direction he left, shook his head, and continued to sleep. Xing Hong, who had nothing to do, ran. If you didn't run well, the death aura passage would open in the human realm. As the guardian of the city lord's connection, you should go guard the human realm tunnel. If you really opened the human realm tunnel, there would be an emperor in the ancient human realm. If you were in the human realm's dead spirit world, you would be beaten half to death every day. Idiot Xing Hong. You actually let your city lord run to the human realm. I wonder if you will get into big trouble. Sleep, don't care about him. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2157. 2157 Chapter 474, The Prestige of Xianjiu Qiu. Subscribe, 1. Xianjiu, are you alright? The next day. When the people in the black armor saw Su Yu, they were extremely shocked. What was going on? The black armor quickly said, "Ran out of heaven Yuan Qi." This aura of death was so dense. They couldn't sense it in the past, but now it was very clear. Su Yu said in a low voice, "I'm fine. Those who are about to die have a chance of survival. After leaving the ancient city for a long time, this is how it is. The aura of death suppresses my strength. Otherwise, I can kill someone at the third level of the sun and moon." The black armor was stunned. Are you really going to die or are you faking your death? This tone and attitude were completely in preparation for the big battle to come. Yes, you are suppressed by the aura of death. So, you are actually not at the first or second level of the sun and moon. You are at the third or fourth level, fifth or sixth level, seventh or eighth level of the sun and moon, right? This fellow really knows how to find excuses for himself. Su Yu said in a low voice, everyone, Lu Wenyan has entered the city, and the ruins will open soon. I have a strong aura of death, and I can feel it very clearly. The extent of the Heaven Yuan Chi's dispersion has increased greatly. This ruins is about to open. Once these words were said, the others were excited. Was it going to open? It was finally going to open. It had been so depressing recently. The Herculean sect master hurriedly said, when can it open? Also, the Xia family is in the city, how do we deal with them? Everyone knows that the Xia family only guarded this ruins in order to lure out that invincible. The Xia family might be able to deal with invincible. Su Yu said indifferently, that has nothing to do with us. The strong ones are given to the strong ones. Our mission is to kill those guys who fish in troubled waters. It's hard to say about fate. Why did so many geniuses come in this time? Because all the clans believe that the fate of the geniuses is stronger, so even if it's dangerous, these geniuses didn't leave. Because they believe that in the end, the ones who get the benefits might not be the strong ones, but the geniuses. Ju Li suddenly understood. So that's how it is. You idiot, you only understand now. Everyone was silently cursing. Wasn't this obvious? Otherwise, why would they let these geniuses enter? This was because geniuses were sometimes very mysterious. With strong luck, they would be able to reap the benefits from the fire. The strong might not necessarily be able to obtain the opportunities, but the geniuses would usually be able to obtain them. This was the function of geniuses. Su Yu said in a clear voice, and our main target is these people. Regardless of whether it's to assassinate them or to intercept them, we just can't let these people obtain the treasures. As for the Xia family and that invincible human race, or the invincible 3 generations of other races, they have nothing to do with us. Understood. Everyone agreed, and when they looked at Su Yu again, they all felt some sympathy. Xianjiu was also a genius. Although they did not know how old he was, he should not be too big and was extremely powerful. Unfortunately, looking at the aura of death surrounding him, he did not seem to have much time left. He could not even suppress the Heaven Yuan Qi. This was not Su Yu's intention. There was an old sand sculpture that might have really escaped. Su Yu really wanted to vomit blood. He realized that even if he closed his yang aperture, it would be useless. The aura of death was constantly boiling. This was because the old sand sculpture that suppressed the ancient city might have run away. He wanted to vomit blood. Now, the aura of death was so thick that he could not even hide it. These days, he could not live anymore. This was because now that the stone sculpture had left, all the aura of death was borne by Su Yu. It was even doubled because he was in the human realm, he was not in the ancient city. It would be strange if Su Yu did not want to vomit blood. He had no choice but to continue opening his yang aperture to absorb the aura of death. If not for this, he would have been killed by the stone statue. Su Yu was speechless. Are you really addicted? It was better before, but now it was a little too much. You're not going back. You must be outside the city now because the aura of death had no intention of stopping. He was very helpless. He hoped that the stone statue would not run around. At the critical moment, he might have to go to the heavenly battlefield to look for you. If I run far away, what should I do? He didn't think about this anymore, so Yu shouted, let's go and guard outside of Nanyuan City. It's only been a few days, and that human has betrayed the invincible. We might have to do something to test the Xia family. Let's watch the show. Near Nanyuan City, no one is allowed to go in or out. Yes. A group of Sun and Moon quickly moved out to seal off Nanyuan. In the Great Xia Manor, sealing off the Xia family's Nanyuan felt very good. The mighty Force cult master and the others were also very happy about this. Even if it was a little dangerous, even if they might have conflicts with the gods and demons, it was still very good. In the past, the myriad clan cult that the Xia family had killed didn't dare to get close to the great Xia manor. Now. Not only did we get close, but we also sealed off your family's city. What do you think? Are you not convinced? We are from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. With this thought in mind, these myriad clan cults Sun and Moon worked very hard to seal off Nanyuan. It was an extraordinary pleasure. Those fellows from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion are here again. They're coming from all directions. They're really bold. Nonsense, it's not just one or two who are coming this time. Look for yourselves, there are dozens of Sun and Moon. Which race dares to fight them to the end? The demon race suffered a loss before, and now they're not even letting out a fart. A group of people discussed, and one of the geniuses said somewhat depressingly, when can the ruins open? This human realm, especially the great Xia Manor, is getting more and more depressed every day. I can feel the aura of death. You too. Me too. This place is too dangerous. Everyone, if a battle of invincibility really breaks out, do we really have to take the chestnuts out of the fire? Who is the invincible battle strength of the Xia family? The original cult master. One genius after another spoke to each other. They felt a sense of danger, a sense of danger. Very dangerous. However, the experts of the various races were now asking them to do their best to take the chestnuts out of the fire and take the tombstone. The genius is the main, the strong is the auxiliary. Strange combination and distribution. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2158. 2158 Chapter 474 Xianzhou's Prestige 2. The mission of a genius was to seize treasures, while the mission of an expert was to snipe other experts, and not to seize them. According to the laws of the myriad races in the heavens, the probability of a genius seizing a supreme treasure was higher, and the probability of an expert seizing it was higher. There was evidence for this. Just as everyone was discussing animatedly. Suddenly, Hong Tan flew over from the top of the Nanyuan city wall. He said in a clear voice, "Today, all the races are present. There are also many experts from the human race. The ruins here have already proved that they are the ruins of a civilized master. My great Xia Manor cannot bear for everyone to return empty-handed. There are many divine literature departments. Today, I will impart to everyone the method of splitting divine literature battle techniques. I hope that the human race will prosper and that the divine literature of the human race will not be destroyed. All the races in the world can also learn from this." As soon as these words were said, everyone was shocked. In the next moment, someone shouted, "No! Hong Tan, what are you?" Hong Tan directly interrupted, "Pass down our multi-god language department. I hope that the multi-god language department will not be destroyed. This time, perhaps we will die, but the multi-god language department will not die. From now on, the multi-god language department will no longer be the monopoly of a few geniuses. You can cultivate until you soar into the sky and continue to outline the god language department. Wait for more than 10 god language department, outline the god language battle technique. Can it really be done?" Someone said excitedly, "Then can the sun and moon of the mountains and seas do it?" Everyone could become multiple divine runes. Putting everything else aside, their battle strength had improved a lot. A systematic divine runes battle skills were much more powerful than the dozens of divine runes that were not systematic. This was also an important reason why Lu Wenyan killed Zhang Ying with one sword strike yesterday. Hong Tan said coldly, "It can be done, but everyone, remember this. If you become multiple divine runes civilized masters, perhaps you will be in great danger. You might even be targeted by the myriad races. There are myriad races here. They know it themselves, and you all know it too. You all should understand the risks involved. We know. As everyone spoke, at this moment, a young genius. He frowned slightly and said, Principal Hong, the multi-divine literature inheritance is a form of rule and elimination. The elimination of those who do not meet the requirements is not necessarily a good thing for you to spread it around now. Hong Tan looked at him and said indifferently, Which prefecture are you from? Are you also from the multi-god language department? I am Yuan Shiji of the De Yuan Mansion, the mountain and sea of the multi-god language department. The young man cupped his hands and said, Dean Hong, to become a multi-god language, you need to have stronger talent, more resources, and the god language must be promoted, not just the main god language. He looked at Hong Tan and shook his head. The splitting method may not be a good thing. Please think twice, Dean. His words caused many people to glare at him angrily. What? You still want to monopolize the myriad divine runes and cut off our chances? That's right. Why can't we learn it? Hong Tan said calmly, I don't care about this. I just hope that the myriad divine runes faculty will not be cut off because of this. Dean, please reconsider. This time, all the myriad races are present. Even if they are to pass down their heritage, they shouldn't let the myriad races know about it. This is to prevent the myriad races from finding a loophole. Hong Tan said calmly, we should let the 10,000 races know that the multi-divine script is indestructible. Perhaps, the civilized masters of the 10,000 races can refer to it and spread the multi-divine script to the 10,000 races and the 10,000 worlds. I'll let you know that the multi-divine script is indestructible. The splitting method of the inherited divine script battle technique. At this moment, someone couldn't hold it in anymore. An expert from the celestial race was extremely powerful. He floated in the air and said coldly, the Great Xia Mansion is determined to make everyone become a multi-divine script. This is a challenge to the final patience of the various races. A quasi-invincible demon also appeared and coldly shouted, Great Xia Manor, don't force us to make a move against you. The existence of the human race's multi-god characters is already the limit. If you continue to pass down the splitting method, do you want to start a battle of the heavens? In the next moment, an immortal quasi-invincible expert also stepped out of the air. He softly said, Daoist Hong Tan, think carefully. This move might not be a good thing. The human race, you know it, I know it, and everyone in the world knows it. Entering the realm without the ability to suppress it is already a great threat to the 10,000 races. If the human realm has more divine literature to inherit, there is no bottom line and no threshold. In this way, this will also force the 10,000 races to erupt into a battle of the heavens. The 10,000 races opposed. The Netherworld race, the Heavenly Abyss race, and the Dragon race, all opposed. No. No. They had sent people to join the Great Xia Civilization Academy to test whether the splitting of the divine writing technique was real or fake. Now, Hong Tan was going to announce it. Obviously, the probability of it being real was high. In this way, the divine writing technique would never end. Hong Tan said coldly, everyone, are you going to stop it? The experts of the various races fell silent. Of course. If you want to pass on your heritage, then stop us. We can't let you pass on your heritage. As for Hong Tan and the others, that was their business. However, they couldn't publicly pass on their heritage, even if it was in a small area. But now, Hong Tan was going to pass it on to everyone in the world. Someone said coldly, Hong Tan, your Great Xia Mansion is very black-hearted. Everyone of the human race, after hearing this, you might not be able to walk out of this place. Hong Tan doesn't have good intentions. The splitting of the inheritance of the battle techniques isn't a good idea. The 10,000 races won't allow it. If a battle between the heavens were to break out, the humans here will die without a doubt. When these words were said, many people were shocked. That's right, the normal multi-divine languages had great restrictions on talent, resources, and battle techniques. However, the splitting of the battle techniques might be able to avoid all of this. Thus, the 10,000 races didn't care much about the normal multi-divine languages. However, the threat of this splitting method was too great. At this moment, some of the multi-god literature geniuses also said sincerely, Dean Hong, think twice. The multi-god literature inheritance won't be destroyed. There's no need to use this method to inherit the multi-god literature. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2159. 2159 Chapter 474, The Might of Xian Jiu 3. Hong Tan looked around and said calmly, "Are you not allowing me to pass this on?" "No. No." The experts from the various clans all shouted. This technique was not allowed to be passed on. Hong Tan smiled and said, "But I just had to pass it on. What can you do? Die. The great Xia Manor will be destroyed." An expert's voice was like a loud bell that shook the entire area. Allowing the human race to have multiple divine runes is already the limit. You still want to spread the multiple divine runes to the entire world. Xia clan, Hong Tan, have you thought about the consequences? This is the start of the battle of the heavens. Seal the secret technique. Hong Tan, if you people don't die or accept our race's invincible memory seal technique, you'll die sooner or later. One expert after another revealed their true bodies and weren't allowed to pass down their techniques. The splitting technique was too serious. On the city wall, Hong Tan laughed. This human realm can't even pass down my techniques. Is this the human realm or the heavenly battlefield? It doesn't matter where it is. It's not allowed to be taught, it's not allowed to be taught. At this moment, someone laughed and said, "How arrogant." The next moment, a golden dragon pulled a carriage over. Zhu Tiandao sat in the dragon carriage and laughed. Since when have the 10,000 clans been so arrogant? In the distance, Suyu was surprised. Why was Zhu Tiandao here? Didn't the Zhu family come to watch the show? If things couldn't be done, the Zhu family would definitely not interfere. Unless the Xia family had the upper hand, the Zhu family might come to fight. Why did Zhu Tiandao come personally this time? Wasn't he afraid of being beaten to death here? He was only at the 9th layer of the sun and moon, yet he didn't even open the river of time. Zhu Tiandao rushed over and said with a smile, "Oh, so many people. There are also many things that aren't human." Zhu Tiandao. A quasi-invincible said coldly, "It's meaningless for the head of a prefecture to take some verbal advantage." Zhu Tiandao said with a smile, "I'm sorry, I don't mean that. It's just that I can't stand some people who are not human and behave atrociously in the human realm. There are some things that I don't want to interfere in the affairs of the great Xia prefecture, but as human beings, I can't just sit idly by and let you bully me, right?" Zhu Tiandao laughed, "After all, this is the human realm, not your small world, not your subordinate race. This is too much, it's not suitable. Yes, some of the quasi-invincible experts have left, and so have the invincible experts. The human realm is indeed a little weak, but this is our own territory after all. Everyone, stop boasting too early. Manor Head Zhu is right." At this moment, a group of experts stepped through the air. Qin Hao was dressed in black armor, and beside him was Qin Fang, who was also dressed in black armor. Behind him were 7 or 8 sun-moon experts. They said coldly, "You dare to act so atrociously in the human realm. Have you asked our great Qin Manor? Kill! Kill! Kill!" The killing intent of the 7 or 8 sun-moon experts shot up into the sky, and a blood-red word, "kill," appeared in the air. The expressions of the 10,000 races changed. The great Qin Manor is so bold. Qin Hao, your great Qin manor is also going to start a war. At this moment, that divine race quasi-invincible said coldly, many divine words don't exist. At the very least, Yi Baishan's lineage doesn't exist. This is a consensus. A consensus of the 10,000 races. The people of the small worlds, the geniuses of the various manors, and the 10,000 races have already tolerated it. Now that you want to preach to the 10,000 races, are you really going to start a war? Let's fight then. Qin Hao raised his long spear and said coldly and arrogantly, our great Qin manor is not afraid. The Qin spear can kill enemies. Fight, fight, fight. The sun and moon of the great Qin manor all roared. At the same time, the experts of the great Xia manor all walked out from the city. Someone laughed and said, the Qin spear, the Xia blade, the Qin family's spear might not be as sharp as the Xia family's. Many thanks to Manor Head Zhu and General Qin for your help. Lord Xiahou cupped his hands and smiled. I thought that no one was willing to come. I didn't expect that you guys would actually come. Zhu Tiandao laughed lightly. Little waiter Xia, do you really look down on me? Not only am I here, but many people have come to our Daming Manor. In the next moment, many figures appeared. The Shadow Guards had arrived. The powerful Shadow Guards, 13 Shadow Guards, 6 Sun Moon Guards, and 7 Peak Mountain and Sea Guards. Not only that, there were also many people who had arrived. Hu Xianqing from the Daming Civilization Academy, the general of the Heavenly Dao Army, Hu Qi from the Daming Civilization Academy, a chubby ancient beast, and an old turtle behind him. Zhu Tiandao sighed. I didn't want to come and watch everything happen, but I didn't expect that the two holy lands would watch as the 10,000 races besieged the southern Yuan, and Zhang Qi would be ashamed to be associated with them. The quest realm is not like this. Civilized masters are not like this. Although I'm weak, I don't want the 10,000 races to think that we civilized masters are so weak, so heartless, and so cold-blooded. Zhu Tiandao sighed and said, the quest realm. He looked at the sun and moon in the distance, he sighed and said, if the root is rotten, it's not easy to cure. When outsiders talk about the invincible traders of the human race, most of them are talking about the quest realm, so why aren't they from the war god hall? That shouldn't be the case. When did civilized masters become bugs other than those in the divine literature department? My father, the great Ming King, has fought for the human race for hundreds of years and put in a lot of effort. But now, he is notorious. When people talk about it, who is the invincible human traders? People will say that the great Zhou King is ranked first, the great Ming King is ranked second, the great Han King is ranked third, and the great Song King is ranked fourth, so, all of them are in the exploration realm. He smiled and said, the great Yuan King, the great Shang King, the Burning Sea King, the Forbidden Heaven King. In any case, no matter how much we guess, they are all unrivaled in the pursuit realm. How bad was his reputation? All that was left was saying that the pursuit realm should no longer exist, that civilized masters should no longer exist. But I was thinking, whoever says that they know the divine language must be in the pursuit realm. Old ghosts of the war god hall, who doesn't know the divine language? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2160. 2160 Chapter 474, Xian Zhou's Prestige Zhou Subscribe, 4. Zhu Tiandao laughed, that's why I'm here. I can't just let everyone know the stench of a civilized master. I also have to know that there are still good people among civilized masters. Am I not one? Lord Xiahou laughed. He laughed until his chubby stomach was trembling. Old Zhu, don't tease me. Are you a good person? Zhu Tiandao laughed and said, waiter, don't talk like that. Big brother has gone all out today and brought people to help. You still dare to laugh at me? The Qin Spear and Xia Dao are all boorish men in the human realm. Is the Qin Spear and Xia Dao the only ones who are famous? Lord Xia Ho laughed and said, yes, yes, yes. Then tell me, what does your Daming Manor have? Daming Manor? Zhu Tiandao laughed and said, the Daming Manor has many things. Men, let everyone see what our Daming Manor has. Buzz. At this moment, the sky suddenly turned dark. It blotted out the sun. It was a group of countless ants that quickly covered the entire world. Zhu Tiandao smiled and said, the Great Ming Mansion has this. This thing is good. Sky-swallowing ants, do you know? It's very good. At this moment, with a rumble, the void rippled and a group of ants were shaken to death. A sun and moon appeared in the void. It was the Shadow Clan. In the next moment, the earth quaked, and an earthling appeared. It was the Five Elements Clan. A moment later, a gentle breeze rippled, and a wind shadow appeared. With a sigh, the Wind Clan emerged. After a while, a mountain peak exploded, and a stone golem walked out, cursing. Soon, the void quaked. Experts could be seen everywhere. In the void, in the land, in the rivers, there were heaven-devouring ants that could devour everything. In the blink of an eye, an area of several dozen kilometers outside of the southern domain became a black restricted area. At this moment, countless experts emerged from the darkness. Helpless. Damn it. This thing was very conniving. If you ignored it, more and more people would gather. In the end, even the mountains, seas, sun, and moon would be devoured by the heaven-devouring ants. They had no choice but to come out. The experts in all directions were stunned. How many people were they hiding? Some people were discovered, but more than half of them were discovered. In the sky, even the quasi-invincible experts of the various races wanted to hammer their heads. Had they gone mad? There were too many experts hiding in the dark. At this moment, there was a rumbling sound in the outer area. White faces appeared one after another. Suyu smiled and said, the Great Ming Mansion is powerful. Let's gather. With the sky-devouring ants of the Great Ming Mansion, we don't need to split up. A moment later, more than 20 suns and moons gathered. Many people were speechless. They knew that they were in the outer area, but they didn't know that they had gathered so many people. That wasn't all. The void in the sky exploded. In the blink of an eye, 12 faceless figures appeared. 2 of them had golden patterns on their masks. They were 10 heaven-hunting pavilion elders, and 2 of them were quasi-invincible. Bad luck. 3rd elder and 8th elder cursed under their breath as they continued to blast away the endless stream of heaven-devouring ants. At this moment, everyone in the area was once again stunned. They looked over here and there. They were all from the heaven-hunting pavilion. How many suns and moons were there? Not only that, after a while, more and more mountains and seas with white or black faces appeared. The heaven-hunting pavilion instantly became the strongest side. On the other side, Zhu Tiandao laughed out loud. Amazing, really amazing. How many suns and moons have come here? Ha ha ha, does my Great Ming Mansion have anything? Lord Xia Ho could not help but give him a thumbs up and said with a smile, there's something, there's a lot of things. It's just that there are some wastelands, and this southern Yuan is going to become an isolated island. This thing could devour everything. No matter what, after a few years, perhaps the great Xia mansion would be swallowed up. Along with his words, rumble. Once again, experts appeared one after another. Zhang Qi, who had appeared previously, as well as a few others who were seeking for the sun and moon realm, very quickly, someone else appeared while cursing and swearing, they shouted, don't misunderstand. We're on the same side. We're from the War God Hall. It's better to hide and help. We're on the same side. In the next moment, there was another explosion. It was another two masked men. Huang Jia said dryly, "Don't misunderstand. We're on the same side. Lord Marquis, Huang Jia has brought Huang Jiao to report. Return to the Great Xia Manor." Lord Marquis Xia was slightly stunned. Return? Return to your grandpa? I know who you are. He remembered. He had pretended to help them previously and confirmed their identities. This fellow really dared to climb up the ladder. Lord Xiahou smiled and said, "Sure, come back." With a buzz, the void trembled. In the next moment, Huang Jia arrived at Nanyuan City with Huang Jiao. Huang Jia smiled and said, "Lord Xiahou, it's been many years. I've finally returned home." "Thank you, Lord Xiahou." Marquis Xia was shocked. You really dared to come? You must be crazy." At this moment, Suyu was also shocked. What was going on? Elder Xian Jia, what's going on? These two were only framed. Why did they really go to the human race? He was dumbfounded. Were they nurtured by the Xia family? Then didn't he expose them previously? Xian Jia was also speechless. He transmitted his voice, "I don't know. It's hard to say. Are they also humans? I don't know." Su Yu was speechless. They are so bold. Are they not humans? How many humans are hidden in the heaven hunting pavilion? Not necessarily. They might be pretending. Don't be careless. Understood. At this moment, a large number of hidden experts were brought out by the heaven-swallowing ants. It could not be ruled out that some of them were too powerful. They tore open the void and hid in the depths of the void. However, most of the hidden experts had been brought out. The number of experts was terrifying. The void trembled as waves of aura attacked. Just the heaven hunting pavilion alone had a total of 35 Sun-Moon Realm experts at this moment. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2161. 2161 Chapter 474 The Might of Xian Jiao Qiu. Subscribe. 5. On the human side, there were more than 40 Sun and Moon experts from the Xia, Zhu, and Qin clans. There were more than 20 Sun and Moon experts from the Exploration Realm and the War God Hall. Even if more than 20 Sun and Moon experts from the 10,000 clans died, there were still more than 100. There were also Sun and Moon experts from the other clans. There were also some unknown people. After scanning around, there were more than 250 Sun and Moon experts. Including those who had been killed in the past few days, Suyu had estimated that there were about 300 of them. He had not overestimated them at all. Some people did not have the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's intelligence network. Only now did they realize that the tiny Nanyuan had actually gathered so many Sun and Moon experts. There were even 7 or 8 quasi-invincible experts among them. Terrifying. If the invincible experts really came to this place, they might even be surrounded and killed. Just the 7 or 8 quasi-invincible experts alone, who knew how many of them had obtained their future bodies? Perhaps their future bodies would have invincible battle prowess. The void trembled. Those geniuses, especially those from the small worlds, had really experienced and broadened their horizons this time. Some were terrified, some were excited, and some were helpless and sorrowful. So, this was how the real world was. So, the sun and the moon could really be counted in the hundreds. At this moment, a sword light lit up. A few mysterious people had appeared at the edge, and at this moment, one of them suddenly attacked a masked man with his sword. With a hum, a huge cauldron appeared in the air. With a boom, the sword light shattered. However, these scattered sword lights instantly turned into sharp swords that charged towards the huge cauldron. Dong, dong, dong. Loud sounds rang out continuously. Chen Yong. Someone cried out in surprise. The expert who was attacked was Chen Yong. The person who attacked him was a sun and moon. It was not an ordinary sun and moon. It was very powerful. After a few simple moves, Chen Yong's huge cauldron would shatter. Chen Yong was not weak, and he had many tricks up his sleeves. However, at this moment, he was completely suppressed. In the blink of an eye, he was in danger of death. As for the Xia family, they were still within the city. Outside the city, there were people from all clans. The people from the Great Ming and Great Qin manors were far away from them. Before they could arrive, Chen Yong would probably be killed. Chen Yong was very powerful. Everyone could tell that he was at the peak of the mountain and sea realm, but he was definitely in existence at the first level of the sun and moon realm. However, he was suppressed by that person's sword to the point that he was unable to raise his head. In the blink of an eye, the cauldron with the strongest defense showed signs of shattering. Chen Yong was a defensive type. But now, he was completely unable to defend. Even if it was comparable to the sun-moon realm, it was useless. This person easily pierced through the cauldron. Fifth level of the sun-moon realm. Someone cried out in a low voice. If Ji Hong was here, he would be able to recognize that it was the Howling Wind Sword, Zhao Tianfeng. Little Yong. On the other side, Hong Tan roared and rushed out. However, in front of him, there was a group of 10,000 suns and moons. Some sneered, and some were even prepared to kill. Why don't you try leaving the city? The Xia family guarded the ruins, but they were also surrounded. Not only that, the Zhu family and the Qin family were blocked by the surrounding experts. And at this moment, Suyu was not far from there. Seeing this, his eyes changed, and he shouted through voice transmission, "Kill him. The one who uses a sword." Everyone was stunned. What? Killing someone at this time and still wanting to kill the one who uses a sword, was Xian Jiu crazy? Speed. Without waiting for them to make a move, Suyu shot out explosively and roared, "Kill." Boom. This punch was extremely powerful. It was also filled with the aura of death. With his young aperture half opened, Suyu, who was originally 62, had a physical strength of over 660,000 apertures. At this moment, with his young aperture half opened, his physical strength instantly exceeded 800,000 apertures. The aura of death was not absorbed for nothing. This had already reached the level of a normal third-level sun-moon, or rather, the third-level sun-moon of the small clans like the Fire Pupil clan. The sun and moon were almost all geniuses. In fact, there were not many weaklings, and even the weak would find it difficult to reach the sun and moon. 800,000 apertures, unless it was a top-notch genius, under normal circumstances, the third-level sun-moon would be like this. There was no additional divine text, nothing else. It was just a pure physical body with a half-opened yang aperture. Suyu threw a punch. Boom! A thin sword collided with his fist. With a PFFT sound, the thin sword pierced through his fist, but it was instantly corroded by more than half of the death chi. A muffled groan came from the void. Zhao Tianfeng quickly pulled back the thin sword, but the thin sword was already pitch black, the death chi spread. Xianjiu. Zhao Tianfeng was furious and also shocked. Why did Xianjiu make a move? Did the Heaven Hunting Pavilion also accept the mission this time? Nonsense. How could there be so many missions for them to accept? Suyu retracted his fist and retreated. He froze slightly. He was very strong. He was not a match for Xianjiu. Of course, he was talking about now. It did not matter. In the next second, dozens of suns and moons made their moves and broke the void. Rumble. Pooh! Zhao Tianfeng spat out blood. His thin sword broke and he wanted to escape without saying a word. Crazy. What was the Heaven Hunting Pavilion doing? Suyu snorted coldly and looked around. He turned his head to look at Chen Yong, who was quickly retreating and was heavily injured. He said playfully, "Chen Yong, you owe me a life. It's best if you can go and tell Su Yu that you have a divine literature department and owe me a lot of lives. If you do this and Lu Wenyan does this, on the day when the Death Chi passage is cut off, I hope that Su Yu can show some mercy. I also hope that you people have some status in his heart." Once these words were said, everyone felt relieved. So that was the case. Xianjiu, the residents of the ancient city, of Xinghong, understood, completely understood. Chen Yong's heart was also slightly palpitating. He glanced at Xianjiu and said in a low voice, "This kindness. I will remember it. As for my martial nephew, I can only say as much as I can. As for the rest, I cannot guarantee it." Xianjiu, a very strong fellow. He had almost fallen just now. Although he was very vigilant, his whereabouts had been exposed by the sky-devouring ants. He was good at hiding, but that did not mean that he could really fight against a 5th-level Sun Moon. Being killed was only a matter of time. Fortunately, Xianjiu had made a move. Xianjiu, who was at the 3rd-level Sun Moon, was covered in an aura of death. He had blocked the opponent for an instant, and dozens of Sun and Moon members of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion had made a move. In the blink of an eye, they had heavily injured the opponent. Chen Yong was a little envious. Xianjiu from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion was indeed powerful. Dozens of Sun Moon realm cultivators were under his control, and he was an overlord in this area. Most Sun Moon realm advanced stage cultivators would not dare to provoke him. On the other side, in the city, Hong Tan heaved a sigh of relief. What a close call. Lord Xia Ho put down his long saber, and Zhu Tiandao sat down as well. He had thought that Su Yu was still around. F***ck. They had almost forgotten about this fellow. He had become addicted to pretending to be Mysterious 9, and everyone had forgotten that this fellow was very powerful. Not only was he powerful, he was also terrifyingly powerful. He was actually able to exchange a single blow with a cultivator at the 5th level of the Sun Moon realm. That wasn't the main point. The main point was that, he had dozens of Sun Moon realm cultivators with him. Weren't you afraid? His strength wasn't any weaker than that of the Great Ming Mansion or the Great Qin Mansion. In fact, he was even stronger than them. There were even several cultivators at the later stage of the Sun Moon realm. At this moment, the void was in chaos. Zhao Tianfeng was beaten until he vomited blood. With a roar, his body exploded and exploded. His sea of consciousness quickly escaped, but before he could get far, he was already burning up. Su Yu coldly harumphed. It was this method again. It was that method of betraying the invincible. Clearly, the one who attacked Chen Yong was his subordinate. Su Yu frowned slightly. How many suns and moons did this guy control? He had killed 3 people. Jin Yi, Zhao Tianfeng, and one of the 3 humans who had surrounded and killed the suns and moons also died in this way. 3 suns and moons realm experts. This might not be all. There might be more. Su Yu didn't say anything. It was good that he was dead. He didn't even bother to look at the abnormal phenomenon of the suns and moons falling. He said indifferently, Xianjiu's will does not represent the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's will. I only want to survive. I want to help the many divine arts department calculate. Everyone, don't misunderstand the position of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. I don't represent their position. In the air, the 3rd elder and the 8th elder nodded slightly. The 3rd elder said indifferently, this is just Xianjiu's personal will. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion has always been neutral. Someone cursed silently. Go to hell, neutral. How many suns and moons have you guys killed? Recently, the suns and moons have been killed by humans. If your Heaven Hunting Pavilion is neutral, why do you have dozens of suns and moons? There are more than 10 suns and moons at the later stage of the sun-moon realm. This strength is even more terrifying than gods and demons. Chen Yong cupped his hands at Suyu again and quickly flew into the city. Suyu also brought dozens of suns and moons to escort them. He threatened those suns and moons that were in the way to leave. Only when Chen Yong entered the city did Suyu silently retreat. How overbearing and powerful. At this moment, Huang Jiao, who was beside Huang Jia in the city, sent a voice transmission enviously, "Elder, how is he doing better than you?" Also, he really is, but he's at the 3rd level of the suns and moons. This is impossible, right? This is Suyu. I can't believe it. Huang Jiao even suspected. Are we wrong? This isn't Suyu. Suyu is just Ling Yun. No matter how monstrous Ling Yun is, he doesn't have the battle prowess of the 3rd level of the suns and moons. This was too terrifying. She doubted herself for a while and suspected that her guess was wrong. As for Huang Jia, who was ranked 3rd on the Dao proving board, he was also a little suspicious. Was this Suyu? I don't think so either. Come to think of it, it was really heart-wrenching. This kid actually commanded dozens of sun-moon realm experts. Damn it, even an elder like me didn't receive such treatment, even though it wasn't now. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2162. 2162 Chapter 475 Big Hairy Ball and Xing Hong 1. Suyu's eyes were deep as he watched Chen Yong enter the city. All the members of the multi-god literature department had entered the city. Apart from Suyu, who was still in the ancient city, all the members of the 5th generation, or rather, the Great Xia Civilization Academy, had entered the city. This was a chance to catch them all in one fell swoop. This time, if they destroyed these people, the Great Xia Civilization Academy would be completely cut off. Alright, there was still Wu Jia. Probably not many people would remember him. Who would remember who Wu Jia was? Hong Tan, Lu Wenyan, Su Yu, Chen Yong, Bai Feng, and Xia Yunqi were the focus of the world. As for the others, well, the others were just Wu Jia, and no one really cared. Su Yu looked into the city. Beside him, the Herculean sect master transmitted, "Xianjiu, if a great war breaks out, won't we be able to kill many people from the divine literature department?" "As you wish." Su Yu said calmly, "I am me. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion is the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. My personal matters have nothing to do with the Heaven Hunting Pavilion." Herculean sect master and the others secretly ridiculed him. If it had nothing to do with them, why would he ask them to take action? They would even set up a memorial archway after becoming pawns. At this moment, the experts of the 10,000 clans also watched as Chen Yong entered the city. Hong Tan's importation was somewhat difficult. It was blocked by the 10,000 clans. Even if the Zhu and Qin clans came, there was still nothing they could do. If you impart 8, then let's fight. The 10,000 clans didn't allow it. Hundreds of suns and moons gathered. This place was really like an explosive barrel that could explode at any moment. In the city, heavenly Yuan Qi suddenly erupted. A pillar of light rose and covered the entire city. Lu Wenyan is about to advance. Someone whispered, he won't really advance to the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm after entering the Sun-Moon realm, right? Impossible. If he really enters the 9th level of the Sun and Moon realm, then others won't be able to hold it in anymore. That's too scary. We won't be able to hold it in either. Lu Wenyan entering the 9th level of the Sun and Moon realm was a little scary. Of course, everyone felt that the probability wasn't high. It wasn't that simple. Lu Wenyan had been stuck in his temperament for decades. Would he be able to advance to the 9th level of the Sun and Moon realm within a year and a half? Su Yu took a look. He was fast, but it would take at least 1 or 2 days. He was not in a hurry. At this time, a message came from the third elder. Xianjiu, someone has given a mission to kill Lu Wenyan, Hong Tan, and the others. The price is extremely high. Su Yu's heart moved. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion was a large organization that covered thousands of worlds. He had been using the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. It seemed that someone wanted to use the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Elder accepted it. Yes. This is the mission of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. If you can complete the mission, then accept it. The third elder sent a message. This is also for the credibility of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. The other party offered an extremely high price to kill Lu Wenyan and the others. The other party offered 30 drops of blood essence of the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. The 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm was not the first level of the Sun-Moon realm. The difference between the 9th level and the first level was shocking. It was more than 10 times more than that. In fact, the blood essence of the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm rarely appeared. The purchase of this blood essence was usually done with treasures, not some heaven hunting points. 30 drops. This meant that the other party had killed at least 3 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm experts in order to gather this blood essence. Su Yu judged that this might be the order placed by that invincible expert. Even a normal quasi-invincible wouldn't be able to pay such a price. Of course, it could also be the order from an expert of 10,000 races. Have you gone to hand it over? Su Yu asked. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion always collected money before doing anything. Not yet, because it's not just this order. In the same Heaven Hunting list, the other party also placed another order. This must be a high-level customer, or it wasn't a customer that Su Yu developed. Otherwise, he would have received the news. Now that he didn't receive it, it might have been directly sent by the headquarters. What mission? Kill Xiao Xia. Su Yu understood. He understood. Killing Lu Wenyan and the others, killing Lord Xia Ho, it must have been done by this traitor, Invincible. Isn't your Xia family trying to lure me? Want to surround and kill me? Fine, then I'll let the Heaven Hunting Pavilion test the waters. Su Yu sent a message, the Xia family should have an invincible combat strength, or an invincible 3-generation body, or a quasi-invincible. Then, everyone understands the meaning of the person who placed the order. This is to force us to reveal the Xia family's trump card, and the pavilion also accepted it. Accepted. The third elder hesitated for a moment, but still said, because the price the other party paid was very high, and, it was only an agreement. They asked us to send out 2 quasi-invincible ones, but the price is a load. Su Yu was slightly shocked. This price was indeed very high. For a quasi-invincible one, this was an irresistible temptation. Elder, this is very dangerous, and the elder told me this. I wonder what the elder means. Since you have accepted it, why are you telling me this? Don't think that I don't know what you are thinking. I am just a puppet, temporarily attracting the attention of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. A vessel. Clearly, the third elder was tempted. This traitor was undefeatable, and he was quite generous. A vessel and 30 drops of 9th level Sun-Moon blood essence. And the target was only Lu Wenyan and the others, plus Lord Xia Ho. Perhaps the goal was not to kill, but to test the Xia family's confidence. This guy was rich. It was not surprising that the Heaven Hunting Pavilion was tempted. 2 quasi-invincible experts could exchange for a vessel, so the danger might not be that great. If the Xia family's invincible power really appeared, didn't Minister Huang come as well? Moreover, that traitor Invincible might also make a move once he had tested it out. The third elder sent a message, you are good at negotiation. What the pavilion means is that the mission is still quite dangerous. It would be best if we could work together with the gods and demons to complete this mission. Of course, our mission does not need to be known by them. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2163. 2163 Chapter 475 Big Hairy Ball and Xing Hong 2. Simply put, he was trying to trick them into working for free. The gods and demons probably didn't mind either. Perhaps, when they saw the heaven hunting pavilion making a move, they were eager to make a move together. After all, the heaven hunting pavilion had quite a number of experts on their side. Su Yu cursed in his heart. Am I good at negotiations? Is he trying to find me something to do because he saw that I easily took down the Myriad clan cult? Elder, can I get the vessel? I think so. I'll take the money first before I do anything. Of course, the other party has proposed to pay 30 drops of 9th level Sun Moon blood essence first. I'll give you the vessel after the task is completed. Su Yu directly said, this is against the rules. If I really don't give you the vessel, will you still be able to get it later? That's why we didn't agree to it. We're still waiting for the other party's reply. Then we know who the other party is, right? After all, he passed a mission under the heaven hunting list. I don't know. The heaven hunting list was previously in the hands of a sun and moon. It should still be in the hands of that sun and moon now. The other party only passed the mission through this sun and moon. Su Yu didn't ask any further. The heaven hunting pavilion accepted the mission. They were just short of the money. A load item and 30 drops of 9th level sun and moon blood essence. It was a huge sum. And this time, the other party had appointed 2 quasi-invincible experts of the heaven hunting pavilion to act. This price was just enough. As for the danger, it was definitely there, but this danger was probably also under the consideration of the 2 law-enforcing elders. Want me to trick the gods into joining forces? Su Yu thought to himself, what does third elder mean? Third elder very quickly said, Xianjiu, you are in charge of negotiating with the gods and demons. Because you are a resident of the ancient city, we also know of your difficulties. So, you don't have to act on this mission. Just leave it to us. I understand. Su Yu sighed in his heart. He finally understood. They were afraid that he would cause trouble and deprive him of his rights. It made sense. It was almost time to clean up the mess. Almost everything that needed to be forced out had been forced out. At this point, he was still handing over dozens of suns and moons to Su Yu. Wasn't that a joke? Weren't dozens of suns and moons top-tier combat strength? Moreover, there were also several late-stage suns and moons among them. If they really encountered 9th-stage suns and moons, they would be able to kill their opponents under siege. If they encountered quasi-invincible opponents, they would be able to fight even if they were not the type with strong bodies in the future. With such a powerful force, Third Elder and the others naturally would not leave it to Su Yu to manage. Moreover, Xianjiu was close to the multi-divine literature department, or rather, he had no choice but to be close to them. This was also something that the heaven hunting pavilion was rather afraid of. They were afraid that Su Yu would affect the entire mission when the time came. It was just the right time to let Su Yu withdraw. Kill the donkey by cutting off the mill. Su Yu cursed in his heart. As expected, there were not many good things. He was not of much use now. Previously, he had helped Chen Yong, which probably made the 2 law enforcement elders feel that it was not too good and that it was easy for things to change. Along the way, he was kicked out. Of course, he suspected that he probably didn't. Otherwise, this mission wouldn't have been told to him. It was just a bit of a knock on the head. He could leave now, so as to prevent him from helping the multi-god literature department to cause problems. Understood. However, Elder, everyone knows the character of our heaven hunting pavilion. We're so anxious to ally with the others, so they probably guessed that we've accepted the mission. Third Elder sent a message, that doesn't matter because everyone's interests are the same. Right now, everyone wants to make a move against the Xia family. It's just that they don't have the right opportunity. They are also worried that if they make a move, their family won't be able to defeat the other party. They were not afraid that everyone would know about the mission. As long as they knew, they would know. As long as their interests were the same. Alright, I understand. However, Elder. The gods and demons hate me very much. I am afraid that if I go to meet them alone, I will be killed. Can you ask the black-armored elder to protect me? Of course. Not only the black-armored elder, the sect master of the Herculean Strength sect and the sect master of the Earth Fire sect can accompany you. Xianjiu, don't think too much. We're just worried that if you enter the city to carry out your mission, you won't be able to do it. If you do it, you'll also offend Su Yu. It's not worth it. The third elder still explained, for your own good, in case you offend Su Yu, we'll do the mission. Thank you for your understanding, elder. Xianjiu is so grateful. Su Yu thanked him. As for why the third elder and the others didn't go to talk to him personally, the big figures were like that. The small figures went to talk to him first. After the discussion was settled, there was a general result. These experts would personally go to talk to each other. This was the rhythm of an alliance. Su Yu secretly exhaled. Was it going to be an alliance? And it was the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. This time, there were many experts. The God Clan, the Demon Clan, the Dragon Clan, the Immortal Clan, the Dark Clan, the Immemorial Giant Clan, the Five Elements Clan, the Ape Clan, these strong clans all came to be quasi-invincible this time. There were 12 quasi-invincible experts from all clans. Including the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, 14 quasi-invincible experts were present. Right now, the clans hadn't reached an agreement, which was why they couldn't do anything to the Xia clan. In addition, they were afraid of the Xia clan's invincible combat strength, so they didn't show up. Now, someone was going to show themselves, and it was the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. This alliance might be able to work. Could the Myriad Heaven Sage block it? Su Yu had a headache. He was thinking that the Myriad Heaven Sage's goal was to deal with the betraying Invincible. However, the other members of the Xia clan, including the Qin clan and Zhu clan, were only at the 8th level of the Sun-Moon realm, even though Zhu Tiandao was at the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. How could they deal with so many quasi-invincible with so many top-tier combat power? The Xia family wouldn't be destroyed, right? If one Tiansheng made a move ahead of time, all the trump cards of the great Xia family would be exposed. When the traitor, Invincible, saw this situation, he might have a way to prepare and deal with it. Su Yu was helpless. However, he was only a white mask of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, not a true ruler. He could only accept the order. Otherwise, he would fall into the trap.